See me driving down the street. I'm bored with looking good. I got both hands off the wheel. The cops are coming. I'm listening to the music with no fear. You can hear it too if you're sincere. Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Well, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Well, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. I see you stagger in the street, and you can't stay on your feet, and you're faking in your sleep. You wish that you were deep. You can't hear me laughing to myself. If you could, you would be someone else. Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Well, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Well, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. See me die on Bleecker Street. I'm bored with being God. See me sneering in my car. I'm driving to my star. I'm listening to the music with no fear. You can hear it too if you're sincere. Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Well, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Well, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Well, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am.
What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Biker, and this is our broadcast coming to you live from rainy Chongqing, China, baby. It's China, baby. It's Chongqing. We're live. We're alive. I am white Chinese. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the world of HasanAbi Piker, and I will tell you all about it. Sick shirt, thank you. You speak Chinese good? Yeah. Chongqing is so beautiful, dude. I agree. Unk felled off. GG's. Why? What happened? No streamer awards. Noms. Sag. I mean, yeah, we weren't gonna win anything. Let's be real. 12K. How was the podcast? It was amazing. It's probably the best podcast we've ever. Probably one of the better podcast episodes we've done. No nomination. Who cares? Lol. Yeah, I know. It's funny because it's like. This has been a relatively tumultuous year, but it's also been probably the most effective in my career. Did you just wake up? Yeah. I have found myself growing further and further away from the Twitch audience, or not Twitch audience necessarily, but just like Twitch streaming and the audiences that exist on Twitch. And I feel like I've been the most impactful I've been in my career. The more like mainstream recognition I receive as a political commentator, the more angry and resentful other political commentary adjacent people get, and the more they fucking do smear campaigns, and the more separated and connected I feel from the Twitch community. You look tired, brother. Are you okay? I mean, it's 6:42. I actually slept a decent amount. I woke up at 4 a.m., but I slept a decent amount, and yeah, moved to New York City and stream on YouTube. Problem solved, big bro. Okay, no one got nominated who does political content, so it is what it is. Yeah, except XQC, who literally live streamed with the president, with the current president. But I guess he's not considered a political streamer because he's XQC. And Aiden Ross on Kick, but I don't think AT&T has an issue with XQC in the same way that they have an issue with me. That's just how it is sometimes. Will you keep streaming on Bilibili after you get back to the States? Yeah, we're going to figure some stuff out for that. Yeah. Or we've fallen off. I don't know. I mean, it could be that. I think that's probably what it is. Yeah, we've officially fallen off. Bro, Fortnite has a kick skin. We live in hell. Yeah, well, you have to remember. This is something that I've brought up quite a bit, which is you can't really fight money. There's not really much you can do. What the fuck? What is happening? I guess it's on auto white balance, but it's just so fucking... No, that's not good. We got normie podcasters in Finland talking about you, bro. No way you've fallen off. Chatters, I was joking. I wasn't being serious. So much lighting? Yeah. Anyway. At least my goat Connor Eats Pants was nominated. But that shit gets clipped and people take it seriously. Remember that? I know. I don't really care. What am I supposed to do, guys? Yes. I mean, I have the, I should be able to be sarcastic at 6 a.m. in China without a million autists coming up my asshole and clipping something out of context to post it on Reddit. You know what I mean? And at a certain point, you just have to live with it. Are you going to vote though today? Sure. Maybe. Anyway. What was I talking about? Oh, CHONGQING. So illegal voting from China. Yeah. Don't say come up your ass or a Trump fairy will appear. Yeah. Bitty bitty cooking you during your Wing Chun lesson. I know. I was so bad, dude. Holy shit. Bro, to be real, are you kind of salty you weren't nominated? Nah, I don't really give a shit. But I do hate this kind of attitude that people have. This is like this to me is like, I'm at the intersection of Twitch and just normal normie adjacent political commentary content. And I can tell this is like a person who kind of cares about the news a little bit, but absolutely cares about the drama and wants to be like, oh, I bet you're fucking mad, right? Like that's a fan, right? This person is straight up a fan. I'm clocking this motherfucker right now, okay? Parasocial, definitely a fan, okay? Look, been in here for such a long time. Been in here for a long ass time. Definitely a fan. Specifically wants to know like the parasocial shit. He's just like, aren't you kind of salty though? It's like, no, man, I don't give a shit. This has been the most impactful I've been in my career, in my entire career. Yeah, what are you gonna do? You know, I've always been at the intersection of like normie political commentary, politics, and the news world, and also Twitch and just like regular influencer shit. And as far as the regular influencer shit goes, the more impactful I've become in the normie sphere, in the political arena, the less I am capable of collaborating with all these other content creators because people are constantly up my ass. It is what it is. Aren't you winning an award in Ireland a day before the event too? I am. But yes, I'm going to Ireland the day before. I actually literally had to cut that travel shorter just so we can come back to the streamer awards. Are you meeting up with Chinese Trump? I don't think so. But who knows? How would you describe Chongqing as compared to Shanghai and Beijing? Shanghai is a much bigger city. Beijing is much more serious. Shanghai is like it's a westernized city. Chongqing is, I think, it feels more Chinese than Shanghai. Shanghai is like very Western. Chongqing feels more Chinese than Shanghai, and it's very good. It's like it's more chill. The stairs are crazy, but it's more, I mean, it's more chaotic. Maybe not more chaotic than Shanghai, but yeah. Yeah, but have you considered you're doing the exact same thing as Tucker Carlson did in Russia? Dude, even, you know what's really funny about that? People being like, oh, Hasan, you're doing Tucker Carlson style propaganda. You know what's funny about that? America doesn't even have sanctions on China in the way that it has on Russia. Like the American government disagrees with that take. Okay? Like I'm in a country that is the manufacturing hub of the planet, a country that is responsible for 30% of all goods coming into the United States of America. So when people try to do this comparison, when they're like, well, you know, spot the difference, you can't. We're here to interview the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, and then it's just me taking a photo in Shanghai on a boat. Like, yeah, I'm not here to interview Xi Jinping, which, by the way, would have been amazing. I mean, but that's just never going to happen. Let's be real. What is this? BDBD comment section. Hasan, spit on me. Are you Ludwig? Nice. Any plans on seeing places that are off the beaten path in China, remote locations, nature, rural areas, other historical places? I don't think so. They're literally just liberals pushing China bad. Absolutely anyone in the world that visited the U.S. deserves far more scrutiny, but they're all amoeroid psychopaths. Yeah. Like Tucker's journey to Moscow. It's a trip designed for the core purpose of rehabilitating an authoritarian regime in the eyes of the American public. No difference. Yeah, I think when guys like this do stuff like this, they basically give the game away when they're just saying like, oh, I don't like that I'm watching you in China, and it makes me reconsider what I previously thought China was like. Because there is no like I'm not doing any fucking like I'm spending a lot of money out of my own pocket. Okay? We are spending a fuck ton of money out of our pockets to be here, okay? A shit ton. This is the most expensive trip that Fear End has ever done. By far. It's a more expensive trip than Japan even. And a big part of that is because like we wanted to make sure that we had like a lot of fucking content. No, the suits is not what I'm talking about. That's just extra on the top. That's not what I'm talking about at all. Like, even if you were to consider this propaganda, like Tucker Carlson went to Russia to be like, it's awesome that they invaded Ukraine. I went to China and I was like, I really like high-speed rail, and I think America should also build it and infrastructure as well, considering we are the richest nation on the planet. Like, these things are not even remotely comparable. What the fuck? These people are just on maximalist copium, and I'm not even here to do like government propaganda anyway. This guy said F-word maxing, apparently, and got 118,000. What he doesn't know is that I fucked his dad. Yeah, in the butt. And then I fucked his mom. You're also trying to turn Chinese. Why Chinese? Yeah. Are you Bubba? Don't lie. I'm not Bubba. Austin is getting love on BDBD. Yeah, they're calling him the toilet fairy. Since Golden Gate got demoted to Toilet Boy, I figured we should show him some love he's been getting on BDBD. Austin is destined for Chengdu's must-eat list. Nice. You would think the Chinese government would grant you an interview knowing your political stance towards the U.S.? What? No. Guys, you need to understand something. I'm a Twitch streamer. Like, sometimes you guys... Sure, I have a little bit of emotion in the United States of America, but, like, that's the fucking leader of the People's Republic of China. That's not... They're not the United States of America, chatter. They're not Trump. That's not how that works. You know what I mean? That's not how that works at all. Your haters are trapping themselves with a little red book clip. This is horrifying and evil. Imagine reacting like this to receiving a first edition of Mein Kampf. The anti-reactionary spiritual self-help, how to fight your oppressor's book is the same as Mein Kampf. An incoherent, badly written effort post on why Jewish people is to blame on anything and everything. Smartest American flag user. Yeah, one of the funniest things about people freaking out about the little red book thing and comparing it to Mein Kampf is that it just immediately shows that Americans do not know how to read, are inherently reactionary, inherently anti-intellectual. Remember, Mark Milley said he read Mao Zedong, and everybody yelled at him. Okay? Mark Milley, American General Mark Milley was like, of course I read Mao Zedong. You have to read. I'm a general. Our soldiers also have to read. And Americans reacted to that by saying he was woke and a homosexual. They said he was Marx Milley, the woke septum piercing having purple haired general. We are run by fucking baboons. Okay? America is a country entirely comprised of cackling hyenas and absolute donkeys. Okay? And at a certain point, we're going to need to fix it. Okay? We're going to need to start reading again. We're going to need to start pumping unimaginable amounts of funds into education initiatives. We have become a backwards state. Okay? We're backwards. We're not even intellectually curious. We have no vision for a better future. We are absolutely stuck. Socialist mansion designer fits. America, what? Oh, man. I missed it. There was one who was immediately chirping. It makes me so sad. It makes me so sad that we're just like, what is this? Socialist mansion designer fits. America deserved 9/11 guy now doing tourism PR in an authoritarian state while calling everyone else sellouts. Consistency king right here. Yeah. Mao was one of the most accomplished generals of the 20th century. Yes. Definitely. As far as guerrilla warfare tactics and whatnot. But also like, kind of dry, not gonna lie. No, that was pretty good. I mean, he's a good summary of HasanAbi's entire worldview destroyed. Consistency. We are intellectually lazy, not just incurious, oversimplifying and reducing everything to false equivalencies. No, it's that, but it's also, it makes me so sad because I love America. Okay? I'm not a very patriotic person, but I love Americans and I love the promise of America. I love the potential of America. It's the wealthiest nation on the planet. There are so many people that want to do better for one another And we're just constantly stuck in this never ending spiral of death and destruction. You know? Like, think about it this way. People say, I love China. I love China. Hassan loves China. Motherfucker, I'm one of the only goddamn content creators out here that actually makes his merchandise in the United States of America with union hands. Okay? How many fucking right-wing Republicans, how many fucking liberals you know that actually make their own merchandise in China because it's much cheaper and they can make a way higher profit margin as opposed to your boy? Okay? I think it's a sign that you are maybe not the most intelligent person if you are constantly shutting off alternative visions like this. And you can basically live your life with your eyes closed, with your ears plugged, assuming that every other country out there that have been declared foreign adversaries of the United States of America are some of the most evil countries on the planet, and only America ends up doing. Don't be fooled. HasanAbi keeps repeating this talking point so he can sell it for ludicrous prices. He is a capitalist through and through. Yeah. Thank you, Top G. I think you're a little bit jealous that I did actually finally come to China and I've been enjoying it. What happened? Yeah, Tari Yamamoto is cooking, by the way. I should have linked up with him when I was in Japan last time. That's my goat. Anyway, are you going to meet up with Chinese Trump? Maybe. Did he explore Chongqing yet? Yes. Are you going to go to the zoo there? They have 30 pandas. In Chengdu, we will. I will meet you in the later, but if you do skip Shenzhen, it might not happen. That's a bummer. We might actually not do Shenzhen. Actually, no, there will be. I think there is going to be a day where we do Shenzhen for sure. You want to ironically give the U.S. positive PR by doing stuff like going to China? I don't think a lot of Americans are aware of how much the U.S. is despised around the world. No, they're not. It scares me for everything I know. Listen, for everything I know about how nations have failed historically, increased militarism and withdrawing themselves from normal diplomatic processes around the world, and basically just moving in the direction against education, moving in the direction against growth, and constantly seeking out territorial acquisition. Like, this is how empires fall, okay? Historically. And that's where we're at in America. It just makes me sad. Twitter are mostly bots, don't get gaslighted. No, I mean, I'm just talking in general. Like, there are a lot of people who I wish I could speak to. There are a lot of people who I wish I could help understand that there is an entire world out there. There are different modes of existence, different cultures, different people. And even if you aren't capable financially of going out and seeing it on your own, you can at least try to be open-minded, you know? I did see the Straw Hat making the Straw Hat is now being co-opted. The anti-Morena protests also used the Straw Hat Pirates Mugiwara banner, which made me very sad. Shenzhen is different. Chongqing represents China's inland development strategy, heavy industry, river transport, and rural revitalization. Shenzhen showcases coastal globalization, tech innovation, foreign investment, and export-driven growth. Together, they reflect China's dual-path modernization model. Yeah, I did see this. Former neoliberal Mexican president, Vicente Fox, wearing a Straw Hat Pirate shirt. Can you explain the Mexico situation? Yeah, we'll get into it in a little bit. Yeah, apparently it was all old people for the most part. And even some, anyway. AstroTurf Gen Z Revolution, I know. Let's blast off. Are you going to see the subway through the apartments in Chongqing? That's what I want to see for sure. That cycle of nations is what kept humanity afloat through capitalism, can't exist in perpetuity. Even with reforms, the Ottomans, Romans, British all made way for the Americans. It's pretty obvious we're going to either make way for China or we'll nuke them and end the world on the way out. Yeah. What's the plan for today? It's raining, but Austin wanted to stream today. So we're gonna do his segment today at 11, where we are going to. Do we have a blast off meme, by the way? Okay, we got one. Yeah, it's toilet god time. 11 a.m. is in 4 hours. How's the city at night? It's very pretty in 4 hours. We are going to be live streaming from a restaurant. I told you about the co-opting in Mexico weeks before when you react to the One Piece philosophy video, my logs. Mexican right-wingers are trying to astroturf anti-Morena by co-opting. Holy shit, you clocked it. They have been doing that, and we did see it. You're not wrong. That's real. That's really happening. Diarrhea stream in the squat toilet. No Huawei phone yet. I know. I fucked up. I haven't had much time. Every moment of every day on every moment of every day is pretty much slammed with something. Like last night we basically had not even like a brief moment to like we did Wing Chun on Will's stream, which I also was dual streaming to Bilibili, but right after that we came back and we had to shoot the podcast, and then I just went to sleep. Like literally, that's every day, every moment of every day is like super duper fucking slammed. You chomp down on those Chinese cigs yet, big dog? No, I'm not smoking. Claudia's current main opposition is one of the chairmen of the second biggest news network in the country. It's a neoliberal protest. Yeah, I don't think it has like real emotion. You've traveled all around the world, but I have to ask, have you felt any culture shock in China? No. I'll be honest, if you watch enough of my broadcasts, like maybe this is a crazy thing to say, but I did mention this on the podcast last night as well. I'm low-key not really surprised by anything I've seen in China so far. It is straight up exactly what I thought it was going to be like. I've already had a fairly positive view of the development here. Like everything that I assumed it would be like, it very much exists. I would say it's gayer than I thought it would be, and I would say that people are more. It's gayer. China is definitely gayer than I thought it would be, and I mean that in a positive, obviously. You know, and also it's the people are more social because you went to Shanghai and Chongqing so far. True. 27% of Chile first round presidential election results. Communist Party center left in the lead with 26%. Does China have a sort of xenophobic attitude like Japan and Korea do? Sorry if dumb question. No. Like, not in the, but we are in like the most international cities so far. So I can't speak for the rest of the country. But we went to Beijing, we went to Shanghai, and then now we're in Chongqing. These are all places that have like a shit ton of domestic tourism, but also even like international tourism. And no, they are so fucking stoked. Because remember, we're American, okay? At the end of the day, for even places like Shanghai, like seeing a white person in China, most people encounter, I think, Russians as far as like white people goes. So they just assume that we're Russian, but there's not a lot of, they don't see a lot of white people anyway. Like there are definitely a shit ton of white people in China, but like, there are definitely a lot of white people in China, but I think they don't. I mean, they're very stoked. Like when they see tourists, they get super excited. Like all the way from the children to the aunts and the unks. I'm interested. Is there visible homelessness or beggars on the street? No. In the cities that you've been, no, not even a little bit. The kids waving it all was so wholesome. Yeah. Like if you're a foreigner in China, random people will come up to you and be like, "Can I take a photo with you?" Straight up. They're like, "Wow, you're foreigner in China." When I was in Beijing and visited the Museum of the Communist Party in China, I was politely stopped by a couple who earnestly asked me why I was there. They were like, "A lot of Chinese won't even visit this museum." They were nice. Yeah. Any negative experiences on the trip at all? No. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. I mean, we've been here for what, 8 days now? This is day 8. We've been here for a week. Nothing. The minor mishap was the cop at Tiananmen Square. That was day 1, and that's it. And that was like a 2-minute interaction. And outside of that, it has been spectacular. Like people are so fucking friendly. Even with Austin's bladder, yeah, the most negative stuff is just the constant scat music. The constant scat music is definitely, that's a thing for sure. Will you and the group come back again? I definitely do want to come back. They should take y'all to more authentic local stuff instead of fancy lunch and overpriced Wing Chun training. Dude, come during Chinese New Year and experience that. Okay, you're on crack. Okay, Chinese chatter, Chinese American chatter, most likely. You're on fucking crack. That is the worst possible time to visit China. Are you kidding me? It's already fucking slammed everywhere we go, and it's just like a regular Tuesday afternoon. Chinese New Year would be impossible. Okay? You know that if you've been to China during Chinese New Year. I know that from my fucking relatives. Okay? Even I know. It would be virtually impossible to move around during Chinese New Year. That's crazy. Like, remember the entrance into like Tiananmen Square? That would straight up be everywhere we go. Like everywhere. Getting on a bus would look like that. Highlight of the stream yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not gonna sing. Come on, do it. Do you know the theme song?
Why are you so shy?
Do you know the theme song? Do you guys know the? Do you know the theme song of Bitty Bitty? Come on, sing it. You know the theme song for Billy Billy? Yeah, sing it.
No, he made up the song.
No, he
Ready?
didn't. No, this is actually
Ready?
the theme song. Billy Billy, Billy Billy. Wait, keep going. I don't know. Keep going.
You should skip Hong Kong and stay longer in Shenzhen. Hong Kong fucking sucks. Wait, why? Brother, you're on Fox News right now. They talk about China. Awesome. What are you gonna do? China healing your inner child. Theater kid at heart. Fuck the conservative grifters.
Billy Billy, Billy Billy. Yeah, do it. You gotta do it again. You gotta do it again.
What is this? Another one?
Wait, sing it again. Billy Billy, Billy Billy, Billy Billy. Wait, sing it again. Billy Billy, Billy Billy, Billy Billy.
That's when we were doing the scratch offs. I didn't even realize that was going on. Fox feed for if you want. All right, let's see it. Let's see what the fuck Fox is saying.
Is smarter than that, but not everybody's kids are.
Tommy, we have too much civility in this country? Is that the problem with America right now?
I think we need a little more. I think that we could use a good dose of that, and the left maybe a larger dose than
Our president is either a pedophile or sucked off Bill
those.
Clinton.
I think it's really important and interesting the fact that he's invited all of these prominent Democrats onto his very popular podcast, and he's no conservative, by the way, right?
Yeah.
And they don't want to go on. But why do you think that is?
Oh, they moved on. They moved on. We missed it. How does the crew feel about China since your expectation? Does it surpass their China expectations? Yes. Have you seen any homeless people yet? No. How much did hiring locals help in your experience? A lot. Does he know that his screen is reflected in the background? It doesn't matter. There's literally nothing. Got a screenshot. It linked to. Yeah, we saw that part. Do you use Alipay? I use Alipay. I use WeChat. Have you checked out the arcades or gaming centers? No. Have you ridden the subway metro at all? No, we haven't had time. Do you turn into that super annoying friend that's like, see, this is what the U.S. could be if we funded infrastructure instead of war when the cameras are off? Honestly, I don't even need to say that. They're seeing it in action. There's no reason for me to even say that at all. If you come to China and you experience it in the real world, if you come to China and you experience that, if you come to China and experience China, you will already feel that in your heart. And you will be incredibly frustrated by the fact that we don't have nice things. And you will think to yourself, why don't we have nice things? We should have nice things. The cable car was beautiful. Yeah, it was very nice.
Chat, I have you through the bars. I don't know if can you check if they're still live.
Oh, crap. You're straight not getting back into the country, dog? I don't know, man. I'm in a great mood when I'm here and I'm, enjoying myself. I'll probably laugh more than I have in the last couple of years. And then I think about like what's going on in America and it's like, it just makes me sad. What is happening with my phone? This is why travel is good for the soul. Yes. That's literally called being on vacation. I mean, I'm still being on vacation, except I'm doing virtually everything that I do. I'm working more on vacation than I do at home. I'm literally on camera for a longer time here than I would be at home. We're doing 16-hour days, baby. You're not wrong. Oh, here's the.
Yeah?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes. Oh,
How was it?
always gaslighting you. Always
I don't know
gaslighting.
what
He
you're
was
talking
singing even when he wasn't on camera. Let me just say. It wasn't
Yeah,
just
the
for
after
content.
hours stream goes crazy.
Dude, I'm telling you, Hasan is a theater kid. Let it be known, okay? He might have only attended UM once and skipped the one production that he could have seen. Mind you, with some of the most goated theater
You
people
wanna know-
to ever
you wanna know
graduate
something?
from my program.
You want to know something?
Yeah.
In 3rd grade, I was in the choir, and I was in Turkey, and we were supposed to go to China, and I really wanted to go, and my parents wouldn't let me. That's why I quit the choir. I was like, if I can't go to, like, that's. I guess I was Chinese from
You're not a
the.
singer?
It was
Wait, so
from the
you
start.
stopped singing because
I couldn't go to China.
you couldn't go to China?
That's not even a joke. That's like I'm
Now
not
that
actually
we're
not
back
being
in
me.
China,
Yeah, now
you
I'm back.
sing.
Now I'm back.
It's
That's
like
what I'm
you
saying.
can things.
Yeah.
Theater kid radiation coming off from them. Now you got it like the Spanish flu. Low key, you're right. They are theater kids through and through. It's crazy. I'm surrounded by them, dude. Chat, I'm surrounded by them. It's crazy. Oh, this is the Japanese left populist politician Taro Yamamoto from Battle Royale. Oh yeah, this is Chinese people's reaction to Hasan singing arrested in the sky in Chinese. He's really gonna be arrested now. Don't sing, please. Don't sing, please. Going to jail. To not offend the ears of my people, take singing lessons before singing the International in Chinese. Okay. Chat, we know he's not a theater kid because everyone you see on camera was either a theater kid or got into politics. All right, let's get into the news. Peach glazing your Chinese accent. Bitty chatters clocked your ass. That's my favorite thing is to read the bitty chatters. I don't eat seafood because I have a child's stomach, which in foreign languages means I only like fried chicken nuggets and the like, not because I'm allergic. That's funny. You can take the kid out of theater. You can't take the theater out of the kid. Yeah, this was the funniest clip from Wing Chun, by the way. Look at this. Dude, the seafood was crazy. Okay? Hold on. I'm going to post this Fox News screenshot. It's like getting hit at 999% in Super Smash Bros. The bad guy kind of sold it a bit too hard. You got hit, Hasan. Did it feel real or are they playing it up? It was pretty hard. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he hit Will harder than he hit me. Because, like, he hit pretty hard. Like, I could still feel it through the bag, but it wasn't, like, crazy. Sifu's wife hit the guy like he was his wife's bastard child. Look.
It's a way you protect yourself. Okay.
But I think he was nice to us. I think he was gentle. Like, I don't think he was that aggressive to us.
We'll do it like gentle.
It will go easy on you, okay?
Yeah. It's the real thing, right? Yeah.
Rewind 13 minutes if you want to watch the Fox segment.
I love it. First of all,
Down drains. That's what
is iconic at this point, but I'm just going to speak facts here. It's slim, it's RFID blocking, it's awesome, it's comfortable, I love it.
All right, we'll do it in a second. Did your yin and yang balance get disrupted by the blows? No. Think Will was showing he knew some stuff and got a little extra? Bro, I'm watching a martial arts movie tonight. Fuck it. Ip Man. Watch Ip Man, which is what this master's master is. Irene told him to not hit that hard. So, I mean, Will was cooked, though. Anyway, Ip Man is incredible. Let's see.
Tiananmen Square in Beijing and thought it was a good opportunity to trash our country.
What makes it interesting for me, at least, is like seeing so many people from all around the country literally travel here just to see this. I don't have any sort of patriotism in my heart for for America, but just in general. I'm not like a very, I care about people.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like it's hard to comprehend.
I like that just straight up shows the context of what I'm saying, by the way, and it's really interesting that even if it's in context, people still just refuse to comprehend what it is. Like, I'm just straight up saying, like, this is not for me. I don't understand patriotism like that. So it was an interesting experience seeing others, like, feel this way. Like, I'm not in context, and now they have to massage it, but, like, it just doesn't make sense. How can you hear the full context and still be like, this guy obviously is saying he's not patriotic for America, he hates America, but he loves China, he's patriotic for China? It's like, that doesn't make any sense, man. They always keep the I care about people part every time. It's like they're doing propaganda for you rather than against. yeah, I guess it's just like if you're negatively framed enough against me, and if you're the Fox News audience, you already are like, if you know who I am, you're like, oh, he's a scary socialist. That's why it makes sense. It's all like 90% of my quote unquote out of context framing stems from charitability. If you are uncharitable to me because you have singled me out as like a designated threat, a terrorist, a communist, whatever, then yeah, you're going to hear everything I say in the most negative way possible. But if you actually have no previous hangups whatsoever, and you hear me say that, you're probably gonna be like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like, I don't understand why. Yeah, like I'm not a very patriotic guy either. Like he's not very patriotic. He cares about people.
Yeah, that video is kind of hard for me to comprehend.
Why is that hard for you to comprehend? Why are you now national news once a week? I feel like it's so unwarranted. Like, who cares? Open Presents, thank you for the 25. Get the subs. Like I said, it's partially because it's been the most impactful year of my political career, my political commentary career. I think that's part of the reason why. Dude, if you continue on this path, you will break your brain. What do you mean? No, for real though. Is that actually Tommy Lauren? Yes.
I mean, Joey, this Tiananmen Square is where literally the Chinese Communist Party mowed down people with tanks and then ground their bodies into pulp so that they could wash it down drains. That's what he's walking over, and he's
these guys loved demanding that the police kill Black Lives Matter protesters, by the way. This is Fox News. Fox News, who was like, yeah, no, cops need to start getting way more violent. Like, they demand police violence every day, bro.
Saying that that's a great place to visit, and he loves that over in America. What the heck is going on?
No, ignorance is bliss. I mean, if you choose to just not care, not know anything, then you can say anything you want. And if you say it loud enough on a podcast or social media, you can get paid to do it. So, you know, what is he? He's a product of the most prosperous and freest country in the world. That's what he is. I mean, that's the true irony in all of it is my buddies go to war and die so people like him can be stupid. And that's okay. I'm not going to tell him not to be stupid. What I'm worried about are the 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds that are about to start voting and about to be a part of this country. And that saying that if you're under 30 and you're conservative, you're heartless, but if you're over 30 and you're liberal, you're broke. Like, will they have enough time to get there? Are there too many people like that idiot out there influencing them that they just stay miserable through their 20s? By the time they get to 30, they don't care about politics, or they don't understand conservative values, how to have a live and how to live a happy and full life and be able to have personal responsibility and take pride in that fact and not feel like you need the government to take care of you. I don't know. The only frustration I have is that idiots like him can have a following and an influence in my son's life. Thankfully, my son is smarter than that, but not everybody's kids are.
Tommy, we have too much civility in this country? Is that the problem with America right now?
I think we need a little more. I think that we could use a good...
I went to war and I fought so that Halliburton could extract super profits. That guy lost his legs so that Dick Cheney could die a multimillionaire, by the way, straight up. I mean, sure, he's made it much better than probably some of his other friends who were in similar predicaments. But yeah, that dude lost both of his legs so that Dick Cheney could make money, so that like Exxon, Chevron could divvy up and control the natural resources of Iraq. And he's over here on television. He's made it a lot better than his other homies who are crippled with PTSD and maybe even more severely disabled than he is. Like, at least he's on Fox News. But like, that's the real reason. That's the real reason why you did those things. And I guess instead of like doing an honest assessment of your own experiences here, you just have to cope and be like, oh, well, you know, I went and almost died so that you could be dumbass. You could be a dumbass in America. Like, no, you could be a dumbass everywhere. You have preached contentment and will always attack you if you continue to see hate. You will become literally Joe Rogan. What are you saying, bro? Dude, even before hearing this clip was a thing like 30 minutes ago, you just said how much you worry about this country because you love America and you love Americans, but you're worried that we're going to see the downfall due to corruption, greed, war, and violence. This is so ironic to hear them say that right after you say, someone pull up the clip. It's also partially because like they own what they believe is patriotism. That's why it's like such a perfect clip for them to be like, oh, see, communist in communist China saying he's not patriotic towards America. It's like, let's not try to understand what the fuck is going on here at all, right? Like, And it's I mean, it is what it is. I actually can't help but think, but nobody at home watching that clip thought it was bad. No, Fox News watchers will think that. What about being conservative makes you rich by 30? I believe in having kids young. What?
That in the left may be a larger dose than the right in many cases. I want to go back to that Stephen A.
Oh yeah, she's like, I don't want to talk about this. Let's get back to Stephen A. Smith. And then they moved on. Even Tommy was like, I don't care about this Hasan shit. So the argument is, as it becomes more and more impossible to own a home, literally with a normal salary, that that you are too stupid. They have no answer for it. That's it. That's the argument. Yeah. He didn't barely avoid arrest at all. I saw it with my own 2 eyes on live stream. It was 30-second interaction with a cop. As I've explained, when you look like me or Hasan, it's hard to be patriotic in a country that's flags on the bombs and killing people who look like us. I'm as lib as it gets, but if you aren't revolted by Hasan saying he has not patriotism for America while he enriches himself through America and LARPs in China, where he barely avoided arrest the other night. Fox News official. To which he responded with, given our current American government, the atrocities of our president, and with how our flag has become a white supremacist dog whistle, it is additionally hard to have patriotism for this nation, yet people still like Hasan try to make this country better. In the words of James Baldwin, I love America more than any other country in the world, and exactly for this reason, I insist on the right to criticize her perpetually. While Hasan may not have patriotism for America, he loves it, and I genuinely believe he wants it to be better. Yes, if I didn't, I would just like fuck off. Or, listen, if I hated America in the way that Republicans try to claim, I would just become a right-wing grifter, okay? That's it. If I truly despised Americans and despised America in general, I would just become a Fox News guy. Let's be real. They would love to have me, okay? Former socialist turned right-winger who saw the truth. It's the simplest method of all time, and it is the most effective method of all time. Everybody always grifts to the right, and they get rewarded for it because people, unfortunately, are too stupid to understand that this is just not, you know, they think it's the maximum honesty. Republicans love that. They love rewarding people like Russell Brand. In any case, if I hated America, I would just be a right-winger, and I would tell everybody that, you know, you should just love it. You should love it, you fucking idiot. You should love the United States of America, you fucking moron. It's the best country on the planet, and there's nothing better. That's stupid. There are many issues in the United States of America, but there's also a lot of hope. There's a lot of promise. There's a lot of opportunity. We're squandering it. We're casting it aside because we are so beholden to generating super profits and assuming that that's the only method. If I actually hated America, I would become a Republican. I would become a Republican content creator. Do you see Rick Scott tweeted about you? What did he say? All Trump haters got in the cabinet if you wanted to. Maybe you could have a seat in the government. Who knows? Sky's the limit. It's why fail sons and fail daughters, for that matter, turn to the right-wing grift if your career is failing. Yeah.
This morning, President Trump escalating his fight with Congresswoman Marjorie
Anyway, let's
Taylor
get to the House vote on Jeffrey Epstein's files. It's going to happen. The reality of the matter is, look, I'll give you one other example, okay? Even in our streaming space, there is a lot more bandwidth and a lot more permissibility for right-wing politics, okay? That's just the truth. Even if most of the streamers that you see on camera are super woke in their own personal lives, and they are super open-minded, right? Most people, at least currently, most people are a lot more sympathetic to someone who is just doing right-wing politics. A lot more than they ever would. A lot more than they ever were, rather. It's just kind of the attitude. It's more normal. Like, even woke progressive liberals themselves kind of operate under the notion that, like, they are the minority when they're not. They think, like, their constant need, they think that them being progressive and woke is actually a nuisance, and that the normal position of people is just like being right-wing and racist and bigoted. So they're much more open to the politics of that sort. If you are progressive, if you are promoting progressive values, you're more of a nuisance than like a right-winger is. Because the overall vibes is that, like, if you're kind of bigoted or whatever, if you're making some jokes, you have you're more chill. You're seen as more chill. From a Chinese view, We like Trump a lot because he's actually destroying America and Japan in a funny, confusing way. He's doing great. Yeah. You didn't have a whole live stream with Trump like Aiden Ross did. Maybe top influencers in the Rep Beyond Vote. And Aiden Ross has so many streams with Nick Fuentes, who's an actual Nazi and anti-America. Yeah, I mean, XUC. XUC literally streamed with Donald Trump. And I don't think AT&T has any problems with XQC. AT&T literally blacklisted me. AT&T likes XQC. He streamed with Donald Trump. That in and of itself is a perfect example of this, right? Like, that's it. Did you mention before that AT&T is your phone provider? Yeah, it is. I have AT&T as my phone provider still.
As she pushes for the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. The Georgia Republican, who is once one of Trump's most loyal allies, now says the president's attacks are putting her life in danger, posting in part, "A hotbed of threats against me are being fueled and egged on by the most powerful man in the world. His aggression against me is completely shocking to everyone." In a string of posts on social media over the weekend, the president writing, "I'm withdrawing my support and endorsement of Green," claiming she betrayed the entire Republican Party, calling her a ranting lunatic and a traitor. Green in part responding, "He's coming after me hard to make an example to scare all the other Republicans before next week's vote to release the Epstein files." She's one of 4 Republicans who joined Democrats to sign a petition that forces the House to vote to demand the release of the full files on the convicted sex offender.
It seems like very rich and powerful men are being protected.
This weekend's public blowup comes after months of tension. Green recently criticized the president over his focus on foreign affairs rather than domestic issues, opposed his administration's bailout of Argentina's economy, and blasted Republican leadership during the government shutdown. But Green says Trump turned on her over the Epstein files. So the president dismisses all of this as a hoax, yet he's now demanding his attorney general investigate ties between prominent Democrats and Epstein. All of that just days after Congress released thousands of pages of documents on Epstein, many of which mention Donald Trump by name. Now, that vote in the House to demand the full release of the files is expected this week. But even if that passes, it's unclear where it goes in the Senate, and GO President Trump is very unlikely to sign on.
Okay, Selena, and there is more to talk about this. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and bring in Chief Washington Correspondent Jonathan Karl, who's going to be hosting This Week later this morning on ABC. So, John, what should we be looking for this week with the House vote on releasing those Epstein files?
Hey, good morning, Gio. The first thing you look for is how many Republicans actually vote in favor of this. Look, the president tried, as you heard Selena recount, he tried mightily to prevent a vote on this from happening, to the point of bringing one, member of Congress, one ally, Congressman Boebert, to the Situation Room to meet with the Attorney General and the FBI Director. He tried mightily to keep this from happening. The vote, it now looks like, will be happening. And what I'm looking for is just how many Republicans cross over and vote for it. I think the number could be quite large. It could be 40, 50, maybe even more than that.
Absolutely. Okay, let's switch gears here, because it was just last week that the government shutdown ended, but so much has happened, it seems like we've forgotten about it. What's next in terms of the fallout here from the shutdown?
Well, I mean, now the big question is political fallout. Democrats shut the government down, refused to vote for the temporary spending bill because they wanted to push for something to help with rising health care costs. Those Obamacare subsidies run out at the end of the year. There's some 20 million Americans who are poised to see their health care premiums skyrocket. Democrats didn't get anything, but now they're going to take that issue into the midterm elections. And Gio, let's not forget, I don't mean to worry you here. I know you've covered so much of the impact at the airports, but this is only temporary funding. This only goes through the end of January. I don't expect another down at the end of it, but they need to come up with another agreement to fund the government for the rest of the year.
It's the political breakup heard round the world. President Trump severing ties with at least one of his closest allies, declaring, "I am withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene," even calling for primary challenges against his one-time loyalists and attacking her as, quote, "wacky, a ranting lunatic, a rhino, and a traitor." This is
the first bisexual president was Lincoln. Yeah. The first biromantic asexual president was Donald Trump. What happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene, man? She got reverse John Fetterman. No, she just, I don't know. She wants to elevate her status, I think. I can't see her being sincere. I'm not the type of person who ever assumes a politician is sincere. And I certainly cannot see someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene ever being sincere. Reporter just asked Trump about Fuentes and he lied about Mamdani, Lemafayou. Do you think if people try pressing Trump on Fuentes stuff and like right-wing infighting that eventually Donald Trump will try and use me as a foil, as a counter to be like, well, there's this Hassan guy and he said he hates America. He hates America. He's in China right now. Why doesn't he say? Why doesn't he stay in China? Marjorie Taylor Greene sees the writing on the wall and is doing what she can to elevate herself, like you said. Yeah, I think that Marjorie Taylor Greene sat through that hearing from the victims and couldn't ignore it, to be honest. It could be that. It could be that he is... she told Dana Bash to have Fuentes on CNN. Wait, he watches Fox is bound to happen? Is 2027 HasanAbi is on day 670 of China Stream and is now exclusively in Mandarin. People I see on the left too often keep making the mistake of assuming that just because someone is dumb and into dumb beliefs, they can't lie about them and change them to get the most out of their situation. I used to think Marjorie Taylor Greene is a true believer. Like, even if she's insane, like, even if she's anti-Semitic, insane, believes like QAnon conspiracy, stuff like that, I always thought that she was sincere. Do you know what I mean? Like, I thought she was genuine in her madness rather than someone who was like cynically leaning into these kinds of metas. Like it just doesn't, like, I think she's really crazy. You know, I don't think she is faking being that crazy because she like lucked into a vein at the heart of the Republican Party, if that makes sense. Allegedly, this is the reason between MTG and Trump or AOC. I can't click on it because it's routing through Hong Kong. So Hong Kong doesn't have TikTok. Do you actually stand by what you said about the Gundam community? What did I say about the Gundam community? I don't remember. I live in the Charlotte area, and that this ICE shit is going on here is genuinely turning some MAGA people I know around because they're attacking their favorite minority-owned restaurants. Yeah. I mean, I told you guys that this would happen. The quickest way to get PR status and a direct gift from the Chinese government only like 3 people in the world has is to find previously unknown records of the Nanjing massacre and turn it into the local Chinese embassy. Search up Evan Kale on BDBD or just in general. No, I know that guy. There was a pawn shop owner in America that got a photo book famously on TikTok, and he browsed through the photos, and he saw some of the scariest photos he had ever seen in his life, like atrocities, right? And he was flipping through the book, and he was like, what the fuck is this? And it turns out it was a photo book, I think of like, was it a Western photojournalist who happened to be in Nanjing while the Japanese were slaughtering the Chinese population there? And he handed the photo book off to the Chinese government, and he got like one of the highest honors. Yeah, it's a crazy story because it's really fucked up because Japan basically did the Holocaust, right, in China, but they never took accountability for it, and they were able to evade it because America kind of let them get away with it in exchange for all of the horrifying chemical, biological weapon testing that they had done in order for the scientific discoveries that they got through Unit 731. America basically gave them pardons or let them get off easy, like a lot easier than they would. And there was never a historical acknowledgement. Yes, more deaths in the Holocaust. Yes. The Japanese, the Japanese imperialism in the Asia Pacific region was insane. And in China alone, I believe they killed 20 to 30 million people. I don't know the exact number. Atrocities that they've never acknowledged. I mean, they've done it. They've done horrifying things to the entire Asia Pacific region. But in China specifically, with Unit 731, they were doing crazy tests, like Dr. Mengele style tests. Like they were basically doing their own. Are you being forced to say this? Blink twice if yes. Yeah, I'm being forced to say this, which is why I've said it before I came to China. Evan Kale is a true friend of the Chinese people. All he did was the common sense thing to do, acknowledge historical truth. Yeah, human experiments, things like that. Because of the Japanese, we found out that the human body is like 70% water. They literally did insane experiments. Yeah. Wait, how the fuck did I get here? What was I talking about? I forgot. Japanese leaders have acknowledged / apologized for it. It's not. I think it's more. Really? I think it's definitely a lot more controversial than the way you're making it seem. No. I mean, famously, Shinzo Abe stood and posed in front of a plane that had the number 731. That was a huge controversy. There's still no argument for reparations towards China whatsoever. They've barely acknowledged the comfort women, the Korean comfort women situation. And also, they still have monuments. They still have monuments where they venerate all of the former Imperial Army generals and like all of these fucking horrifying war criminals. And as far as the punishments go, America did let them off fairly easy, specifically so they could get access to the Unit 731 research that they conducted. No state recognizes their atrocities, sadly. No, we're talking about World War II. It's very different. Germany was forced to recognize their atrocities. Germany was forced to recognize the Holocaust. Germany was forced to pay reparations. Japan got off much easier than Germany, partially because America nuked them. That's the other reason. America wanted to test out their new weapon and did something heinous. And that's one aspect of this story. But that was, I think there should have been a recognition. The most recent Japanese PM that was pro-China and tried to close the U.S. military base was pretty much forced to resign by the Obama administration, Yukio Hatoyama. Anyway, the guy, that white guy at the pawn shop got super high honor from the Chinese government for finding this like incredibly important historical artifact, basically. Some of the, it was new documentation of Nanjing and the atrocities that took place there. And of course, that is incredibly important for the Chinese population. Anyway, where were we? Except CCP and Korean governments use Japan to stoke nationalism, so it isn't just a matter of apology. What do you mean, stoke nationalism? Brother, that's crazy. Come on. They're right there. They've never openly recognized or fully apologized for it. Yeah, no sitting Japanese prime minister has ever apologized for it. Only a couple of retired ones later in life did. The most a sitting Japanese prime minister has ever done is acknowledge it, is to call their war crimes unfortunate collateral deaths caused by war, never war crimes. What is this? 731 relevant? Never mentioned My Hero Academia in Chinese streets?
A male cosplayer has sparked massive backlash.
Wait, why?
Dressing as a character from the controversial Japanese anime My Hero Academia at the Chengdu Shijiaxian Comic-Con. When other cosplayers tried to persuade him to remove his half-red, half-white wig, he refused. Moments later, someone rushed up and ripped off, triggering pushing and chaos in a crowd. So why was there so much anger over
Wait, what the fuck? Well, I don't know what the...
My Hero Academia once caused outrage in China for naming a character Chica Maruda. Maruda was a slur used for Chinese victims of Japan's notorious Unit 731
Oh.
one of the most serious war crimes Japan committed to China during World War II. Why Chica refers to a type of bacteria used in those experiments. Even worse, the anime depicts the character as a scientist experimenting on others. The anime was harshly boycotted and later pulled from the Chinese platforms. So when someone chose to cosplay a My Hero Academia character, especially during China's National Day holiday, many saw it as insulting and provocative.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. I didn't know that either. Famous in China, My Hero Academia is banned in China. Everyone is supporting it. Oh, that's crazy. What the fuck? In the end, would you say Japan or Germany received the shortest stick from America? I think it's hard because we nuked Japan twice. And Dresden was pretty crazy, right? So like there is, I don't know. I mean, at least like, at least we made Germany acknowledge. We made Germany acknowledge its the horrific war crimes as opposed to Japan. But ultimately, we use both of these countries as a base. So, and we played a role in we wrote the Japanese Constitution. Like we Dresden Tokyo, we firebombed Tokyo and then nuked Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So Germany was an aggressor nation in World War II, yet the West treated German reunification as a righteous and necessary, yet for some reason denying reunification of Taiwan and China is also seen as righteous and necessary. Yeah, I mean it's a part of foreign policy, let's be real. Trump comments on the Tucker Nick interview. Oh shit. Things are getting spicy. All right, let's get back to this stuff. All right, come on. We'll do the Marjorie Taylor Greene split first, and then we'll get to the Nick Fuentes stuff. Nothing compares to nuking a place twice and then occupying it for 100 years. I think, yeah.
Before the House of Representatives is set to vote on releasing the Epstein files. It's a stunning breach between two MAGA leaders, one of whom is here with me now exclusively for her first interview since the president cut ties. Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, thank you so much for being here. As you just heard, and I know you saw, the president says he's withdrawing support for you, encouraging primary challengers. You were one of his biggest supporters. What do you think happened here?
Well, Dana, thank you for having me on, and that is true. I stood with President Trump when virtually no one else did. Campaigned all over the country, spent millions of my own dollars helping him get elected. And I think that's incredibly important. And I do support him and his administration. And I support them in delivering the campaign promises we made to the American people. His remarks, of course, have been hurtful. However, I have something in my heart that I think is incredibly important for our country. And that is to end the toxic fighting in politics. And this has been going on for years, and it has divided our country, split up friends and families, neighbors, and it's not solving our problems. The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor, and that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
What do you think happened? What do you think is the reason for this?
I heard from someone that she fakes her accent. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I've been a believer. Up until recently, I always thought that MTG was just like sincere. She was genuine. Genuinely crazy, but genuine nonetheless. And nowadays, I don't know. I don't know if it's that she has like higher ambitions for higher office, and that's the reason why she's moving the way she is. But I don't think her accent is fake. I think she's just like that. I think she's like that. She is that kind of person. Interesting. She seems way more scared of the right than the left, or is it just me? Yeah, I mean, there's a reason for it, right? Yeah. I think when push comes to shove, we all know that there's one side that is responsible for the overwhelming majority of political violence, and it's not the fucking woke, non-binary, septum-piercing having they Dems, okay? It's the base. It's the right-wing base. That is where a lot of this violence comes from.
Unfortunately, it has all come down to the Epstein files. And that
this woman is still a Nazi. Don't let her departure from Trump fool any of you. I'm not being fooled at all. I'm just trying to make an honest assessment.
It's shocking. And, you know, I stand with these women. I stand with rape victims. I stand with children who are in terrible sex abuse situations. And I stand with survivors of trafficking and those that are trapped in sex trafficking. And I will not apologize for that. I believe the country deserves transparency in these files. And I don't believe that rich, powerful people should be protected if they have done anything wrong. And so I'm standing with the women, and I will continue to do my small part to get the files released.
You said on X yesterday, quote, "It's astonishing really how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out, and that it really makes you wonder what is in those files." Are you suggesting there's something in the Epstein files that President Trump does not want Americans to see?
Well, I think that's the part that has so many people confused, is that the women themselves that I have talked to have over and over again said that Donald Trump did nothing wrong. Quite a few of them even told me they voted for him. And those are the women I would like to see in the Oval Office with support. I would like to see all of the women there with support. I I have no idea what's in the files. I can't even guess, but that is the questions everyone is asking, is why fight this so hard?
Well, before this blow up, you sort of alluded to this just now. You said you were confident the president wouldn't be implicated. Are you still confident of that?
I'm listening to the women. Those are the ones that are saying that he did nothing wrong. Virginia Giuffre even said under oath that Donald Trump did nothing wrong, and she wrote it in her book. So I'm continuing to listening to the women, and I think their voices should be the loudest.
The president said the reason that you have been critical of him is not necessarily Epstein, but because he pushed you not to run for the Senate or for governor in Georgia.
Yeah, we had to give that one. Marjorie Taylor Greene is just the biggest grifter ever, right? Lemo, she was a grifter. I think she's a grifter in the way that she's operating right now. Like, she is... Marjorie Taylor Greene is an insane person, okay? And insane people are sincere. I think we need to use the words correctly here. We need to use the terminology correctly here. I am of the mindset that Marjorie Taylor Greene is more an insane person than she is like grifting. I don't know if this is a moment of a crisis of conscience in a weird, twisted way where she like actually does believe the QAnon stuff and then goes, oh my God, this is the real QAnon situation that I knew was real, you know, and therefore I have to speak out against it, or because she wanted to run for Senate, as AOC said, and then found herself being sidelined by the administration and wanted to like pivot. You know what I mean?
Here's some tea for you. MTG, people are like, oh my God, she's saying all of these things. Like, what's gotten into her lately? Oh, like she's bucking against Trump. She's bucking against the administration. Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate in Georgia. She wanted to run for Senate earlier this year in the state of Georgia. She wanted to be the Republican nominee for Senate. So she was gearing up for that statewide race, and Trump told her no. Trump said no. And the White House and Trump land shut down Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal ambitions to run for Senate. And she has been on a revenge tour ever since.
Does she have the backing to become the new face of MAGA after? No. I think this is a political move for a presidential run. She's doing a trial balloon. If this plays well, she becomes the face of the anti-Trump right and steps into the role. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a less controllable entity than Donald Trump. Marjorie Taylor Greene is unironically just as crazy as Trump, if not crazier than Donald Trump. The establishment don't want someone like that. The establishment don't want someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene. They want JD Vance. Or, I mean, there's different forces within. There's different forces at play. You have the tech bro, Silicon Valley freaks. They want JD Vance. The establishment Republicans wanted Ron DeSantis. Only the base wanted Trump. Do I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is capable of capturing the attention of the MAGA base in the way that Donald Trump was able to? No. I think there is a reason why I keep repeating this over and over again. The only man in the right. So how the fuck are you saying she's sincere? No, I'm saying throughout her career, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene has been so insane that she is genuine in her insanity. A grifter is like Tucker Carlson, okay? Tucker Carlson has firm commitments and real beliefs, but Tucker Carlson also will change Tucker Carlson is very good at tailoring his propaganda to a direction that he doesn't even personally believe. Like, Tucker Carlson is not a person who actually cares about the working class. But because in 2016 he saw how popular Bernie was, he very quickly changed his commentary to make it seem like he was a populist, okay? To make it seem like Trump was a populist, to make it seem like he was truly invested in the problems of the working class. That's grifting. If you have no real ambitions of helping the working class, but you claim that you want to help the working class in your commentary, that's grifting. Marjorie Taylor Greene didn't talk about Jewish space lasers because she thought she made a calculation that like anti-Semitism would play well to her base, even if she doesn't actually believe it. She does believe it. She's fucking insane. Does that make sense? That's the difference between someone who is grifting and what grifting means versus someone who is sincerely a crazy person, right? That's the difference. Whereas now Marjorie Taylor Greene is moving in a very different way. So I'm trying to make sense of it. I'm trying to figure out if she is actually grifting or if this is yet another moment of sincerity, but like she accidentally arrived at the correct position on some of this stuff. Now, that doesn't really mean much because ultimately the rest of her worldview is still horrifying, right? Is dog shit. Okay, I need to figure out a way to fucking make this darker without shit. Auto ISO is not working well for me right now. I think that seeing Charlie Kirk get assassinated in public buck with her. No, I don't know if that was what did it. I think the grift was the over the top behavior. Certain things made her popular and she played into them really hard. Crazy people have ambitions too. True. My theory is that someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert, who are new blood in politics, are sincerely invested in unveiling the truth, whereas elected officials who have familiar connection to politics, lineage of established politicians, not going to want to fuck with their bag and go along to get along, not stand for anything insane, but actually wants to drain the swamp. No. Marjorie Taylor Greene dance in the sunlight tweet from 2024. For my Republican colleagues in the House and Senate, if you're going to release ethics reports and rip apart our own that Trump is appointed, then put it all out there for the American people to say yes. All the ethics reports and claims, including the one I filed, all your sexual harassment and assault claims. Yeah, I can't tell. I'm not making sense of shit. We live in a bizarre world. Trump blew Clinton. I'm not predicting shit about anything. I don't think Trump blew. Actually give a blowjob to fucking. Come on, Hasan. We both know if Trump endorsed MTG for Senate, she'd be fighting just as hard not to release the Epstein file. She's a grifter. I think that's true. I think you're right. I think you are right, Chatter. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is moving away from sincerely delusional to calculated grifter era. That's my assessment. That's how I feel about this. Is there some truth to her resentment here? Surely, right? Especially if you are to assume that she was a real QAnon supporter, right? And wasn't doing it cynically. Like there is a level of genuine resentment, I think, that exists, which makes it easier for her to do this pivot. But Charlie Kirk was a grifter. Okay? Charlie Kirk was a grifter. Charlie Kirk talked about Epstein. And then as soon as Donald Trump gave him the boss call, he stopped talking about Epstein. That's grifting. Because if you were to probably ask him in private, I'm sure he cared about the Epstein stuff, right? But he wasn't going to fuck up the bag. He wasn't going to go against Donald Trump. That's grifting. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think, sincerely believes some of the anti-Semitic conspiracies, and that's probably playing a role in her genuine beliefs about Israel, rather than just like identifying a point of weakness, a void in the media landscape that she wants to fill by being the anti-Israel candidate. I don't think it's that calculated. I think for Tucker Carlson, it's that calculated, but I think for Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's not that calculated. I think she genuinely is like, yeah, Jews are up to some fuck shit, and Israel is a part of that, and I'm gonna address it. So that's what it feels like. This is not to give her any credit, but I do think Marjorie Taylor Greene's whole arc is genuine in the sense that it's what would probably happen if you took any insane Facebook commenter and made them actually experience legislatively dealing with the Republican Party for a couple years. You think Marjorie Taylor Greene saw the writing on the wall with Israel? No, I think that plays a role in it. I think if Donald Trump was pro Marjorie Taylor Greene and was like, oh yeah, you should run for Senate, I'll help you get a Senate seat, then she probably wouldn't be as aggressive on the Israel stuff. She definitely would be defending Trump with the Epstein stuff, for example. But the fact that she's not doing that right now is partially because she is a QAnon wine mom, and that guides her. That's like her primary directive. That's what a lot of her worldview is built on top of. But the other reason why she's doing it is because I think she also identifies that this is a point of weakness where she can make a name for herself.
How and when did he do that?
Well, that is absolutely not true. Actually, I never had a conversation at all with the president about running for Senate or running for Georgia. And those were decisions I came to on my own, that I don't want to have anything to do with the Senate. I think the past 2 months of the government shutdown should have shown America exactly why I would never want to be there. I think it's a very broken institution that serves the uniparty and doesn't serve the American people and how they vote. And I decided that I didn't want to run for governor this cycle either. I very much want to do the job that I'm in. Everyone else says I'm running for something, but all I want to do is serve Georgia's 14th district. And I'm very grateful for that opportunity.
So he said it pretty explicitly. Are you saying he's lying, or did he at least get that message to somebody on your political team instead?
I'm not sure. But I don't. That is untrue what he said. I don't know if he's being fed wrong information. I honestly have no idea in that area, but it is absolutely factually not true. Nor have I called him, and White House logs would prove that. His own cell phone records would prove it. I have not been calling the president, but I did post messages that I had sent to him, and that was to, like, protect, get involved. This is important. The American people want the Epstein files released. And, I've stood with the president. I have disagreed with him at times, Dana, and I'm allowed to do that. I think that's the most important thing we can do as Americans. And I'm urging my party. I've been putting massive pressure on my party and our speaker to pass the agenda that the American people vote for. That's the agenda that I fought for. Those are the campaign promises I made. And I can disagree with the president at times, particularly this past Monday on the Marines' 250th anniversary, when he honored the new Syrian president, who is an al-Qaeda terrorist and was wanted by our government for years with a $10 million bounty up until March of this year. I
had to change the lighting up a little bit because it's like not. I think it's a lot better now. It was too yellow in the room. Trump's turn against MTG only bodes well for her future prospects. No, I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think it bodes well for her future prospects is because MTG, one, I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I don't think she speaks to the same fucking frequency that Trump is able to tap into. Okay? That's number one. Like, Marjorie Taylor Greene is not going to be able to hold the base together. You need to be a lot more charismatic. You need to be a better storyteller. You need to be like Trump. Trump has been able to present himself as more moderate than we give him credit for here on the broadcast, because like we know exactly what he's trying to do. But for the average American, in both the elections that Donald Trump won, he was able to tap into I'm a different type of Republican successfully, right? The only time he lost was when, he was the incumbent and people knew exactly what type of Republican he actually was, right? It was in the heels of COVID, all this stuff. And what I mean by that is, like, with respect to Israel, for example, Trump always took this like weird middle of the road statement. He kept saying he was a peace president. That is, and liberals often don't understand this, but like that is a moderate presentation, positioning himself against Republicans as well, like Republicans that he identifies as bad Republicans, like ones that always want to wage war. Now, it's not real. Obviously, this is a lie, but the positioning is still there, and it's important to acknowledge it. And that positioning is a moderate positioning. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is a little too kooky, I think. A little too cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I saw this tweet. It's funny. The artist. Yeah, it's so crazy. It is one of the craziest things I've ever seen, honestly. I just don't. Is JD Vance this much better than her? He did the spread the Haitians eating cats and dogs. No, I think JD Vance is also a loser in a popular contest. But Hasan, that's not the argument I was making before. You might be right that she can't garner the same support, but the point is, threat, she is trying to. She's making a political move to it. Whether or not she'll succeed is another question, but her ambition. Yeah, no, that is definitely her ambition. Like I was saying, I don't think that the way she's operated so far will be helpful, unless in a weird way, she also is tapping into that Trump heterodox method of moderation on certain issues. Because, like, if her goal is to win over the populist wing of the party that is super pro-Trump, she's going about it the wrong way by attacking Trump. You got to brown nose him, and you got to be in the inner circle. Especially as it stands, I don't think she's powerful enough to be able to thwart or pull away people from Trump's base.
That I think that was very hurtful to the great men and women who served over in the Middle East and were sent there, and many of them that were killed and injured and live with PTSD to this day from fighting Al-Qaeda. So there's things I disagree with, and I'm allowed to do so.
Well, you mentioned the Syrian leader at the White House. You've also been critical of President Trump over foreign entanglements, H-1B visas. Now he's moving military assets towards Venezuela. I do want to play something that he said this week.
Don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea.
It's me.
I know what
I'm
MAGA wants better than anybody else. And MAGA wants to see our country thrive.
Do you agree? Do you think he represents the MAGA movement as he once did?
Well, what the American people voted for with MAGA was to put the American people first and stop sending foreign aid and stop being involved in foreign wars. They very much deserve to be put first. Cost of living is far too high. Health insurance is completely out of control. And those are two issues I've been very vocal on for months and months now, long before Republicans were shocked when those big losses came on this past Tuesday's election. So I think that the American people deserve to be put first. That's what Make America Great Again meant to me. And I think that President Trump can do that if he refocuses his effort. And I think that's what I want to see. I think that's what the country wants to see. Even if he's attacking me, I do want him to be successful for the American people.
So sounds like you're saying that he is not representing the MAGA movement that he started right now.
I can say that promoting H-1B.
I mean, going on CNN and crying like this, but still trying to defend Donald Trump, it's weird. It's a tough sell, I think. On the one hand, she's like on CNN she's on CNN in a way that Republicans won't appreciate, because she's like she is attacking Donald Trump, but she's also trying to defend Donald Trump. I don't think you can pull this off. But maybe, I don't know. Americans, I don't know how fucking stupid Americans are at this point. I can't tell. Sometimes Americans can surprise you, you know? At some point, she's going to have to figure out which direction she's leaning in, because this tightrope is going to snap. And I think Trump has already decided she's out. If she was grifting to get that direction, doing it in the first year of the presidency is too soon to try that method. They're stupid. She's doing numbers in my family group chat right now. Wait, so your family group chat that have identified certain issues with Trump, like certain promises that Trump has made, that is not. Wait, first of all, is your family group chat liberal? Roach from Asmongold's room. Is your family liberal, or are they MAGA? Are they libtards or are they MAGA? Oh, they're libs. Okay, that does no liberal is gonna vote for fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene. Come on. At the end of the day, ask your family, if it was Marjorie Taylor Greene versus AOC, for example, who would they fucking vote for? That's not going to work. That never works. That does not work. Especially because of who Marjorie Taylor Greene is. Yes, they will. No, liberals will always vote for a Democrat before they vote for a Republican, a Marjorie Taylor Greene style Republican especially. Remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene is not like Donald Trump. She started off as a congressperson, okay? She gained prominence as a congressperson. Donald Trump gained prominence as a television personality, so he was like, he could present himself as an outsider. She can't in the same way. And Donald Trump was able to present himself as an outsider, and that actually allowed him to win favors with a lot of low propensity voters, win favors with a lot of middle of the road guys, Obama swappers, you know? He presented a different vision for America, all this stuff. MTG doesn't have that background. It's not going to be as easy for her. She is seen as like a regular ass, well, not even a regular ass Republican. Up until this moment, she was seen as an insane Republican, one of the most like diehard MAGA Republicans. You are right, but never underestimate how much they love Never Trumpers. Liz Cheney or every person on CNN panel. Yeah, if liberals love Never Trumpers that much, Kamala Harris would have actually won. I'm telling you right now. My whole extended family is Obama Trump voters is crazy. Yeah.
Visas to replace American jobs, bringing in 600,000 Chinese students to replace American students' opportunities in American colleges and universities. Those are not America First positions.
Subscribe to the Piker Broadcasting Service.
Continuing to really travel all over the world doesn't help Americans back at home. I really, and I said this to him, and I will say it out loud, I would love to see Air Force One be parked and stay home, and there be nothing but a constant focus in the White House on a domestic agenda that helps the American people once and for all.
Congresswoman, you posted on X that President Trump is, with his comments, fueling a, quote, hotbed of threats against you. Obviously, any threats to your safety are completely unacceptable. But we have seen these kinds of attacks or criticism from the president at other people. It's not new. And with respect, I haven't heard you speak out about it until it was directed at you.
Dana, I think that's fair criticism. And I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought.
I'm not even saying damn to Dana. I'm saying damn for her taking, acknowledging it. Of course, Dana's going to cook MTG. She's a Trump. She's a Trumpy. She's like far right. Not only is she far right, but now she's also anti-Israel, which is another thing that Dana hates. I'm just surprised that she's like, yeah, I take ownership over it. It's really toxicity. It's just weird, man. It's weird to see her try to fucking reposition herself like this. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't understand like how this will be successful for her.
For taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself.
It's just crazy because she's like, this is a real leopards eating my face moment for her, right? Like everything she's talked about, like political toxicity, political violence, she is the biggest advocate for more political toxicity. She is one of the more polarizing Republicans, and Republicans are already incredibly polarizing. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense for her to just be like, oh, well, I'll take ownership over it. Who amongst us hasn't said Ilhan Omar has done treason for being a mujahideen with a hijabi and Mohammedan? And I've said that she needs to go back to Somalia, but I take ownership over it. Maybe we should not do that. Like, I just don't, like, she is experiencing maybe a fraction of what she's dished out over the years. I just don't think that she's capable of pulling a Tucker here. Finally caught you live. I love your content. Thank you for educating this generation to be smarter. I'm trying, but I'm failing. Let's be real. I'm trying, but I'm failing.
And my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another, and we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences. Yeah. And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements.
So just to put a button on this, you regret the things that you have said and posted in the past, the Facebook post that was taken down of you in 2020 holding a gun alongside the squad, encouraging people to go on the offense against the socialists, liking a tweet of somebody calling for the execution of Nancy Pelosi and former President Obama. Just examples.
Well, Dana, as you know, and many people know, I addressed that back in 2021. And of course, I never want to cause any harm or anything bad for anyone. So that was addressed back then, and I very much stand by my words I said then, and I stand by my words today. I think America needs to come together and end all the toxic, dangerous rhetoric and divide. And I'm leading the way with my own example, and I hope that President Trump can do the same.
Okay.
I don't think she comes across as sincere. That's the other thing. Is she looking at Trump's numbers nosediving and just seeing that she could be an outlet for other Republicans that are disillusioned with Trump? I mean, Trump's numbers are nosediving with independents. They're not nosediving with the MAGA base. They might after this, if she's able to like put a dent in the armor. I read this as nothing but insincere. I can't see this as like sincere at all. She just sounds like she's going through the motions.
So on that, I do want to ask you about something you...
Like, she sounds more sincere when talking about how Israel is fucked up for blowing up children. You know what I mean? She sounds even more sincere when she's talking about Jeffrey Epstein, because those are things that she actually does care about. Maybe for the wrong reasons, but still care about nonetheless. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think, cares about Israel, partially because she thinks what Israel is doing is crazy, and partially because she is anti-Semitic. And she cares about Jeffrey Epstein, partially because she believes in the QAnon conspiracies, and partially because she, I think, cares about child predation to a certain degree, right? We saw the real anti-pedophilia Republicans when this Epstein stuff first started blowing up. The people calling into, you know, the what's the dude's name? Fuck, I'm forgetting it now. Jesus Christ. Like the people who were calling Republican TV shows and radio shows, Glenn Beck's show, and being like, what the hell's going on? I don't know what the hell's going on. Why is Trump behaving like this? This has 9 million. This has 1 million views in 9 hours, and people are buying what she's selling. I mean, I disagree with. Yeah, no, these are liberals. These are liberals. Wow, she took accountability. That's fucking crazy. That was actually crazy. It doesn't come across as sincere, but it's crazy that she actually is taking accountability. I'm not a Marjorie Taylor Greene fan, but it sounds like typical GOP. See, this is what I mean. Liberals are eating this up, but that doesn't mean anything. Liberals believing Marjorie Taylor Greene is not going to move the needle. If she wants a higher office, she needs the Republicans to come on board. No liberal is voting for Marjorie Taylor Greene as opposed to these are all liberals. These are all liberals who are experiencing someone who has been an incredibly far-right nuisance in American politics, basically engaging in a heel turn. Liberals love someone coming to their side and telling them that they were right, you know, and she's not even fully doing that. But I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people are responding the way that they are. It's the Republicans that we need to figure out.
Just yesterday on X, you questioned who and what country is putting so much pressure on Trump to keep the Epstein files hidden. And you included a picture about donations from pro-Israel lobbying group AIPAC. What are you trying to say there?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's the question that many Americans are asking, especially when we saw information recently come out in these emails that the Oversight Committee that I serve on has released. And we saw Jeffrey Epstein with ties to Ehud Barak. We saw him making business deals with them, also business deals that involved the Israeli government, and seems to have led into their intel agencies. And
Marjorie Taylor Greene perfectly capturing why nobody grifts to the left. I mean, she's not grifting to the left anyway. She's grifting. If she would, she'd be grifting to the liberals, not to the left. Nobody, and I mean nobody, grifts to the left at all. There is no use for it. There's no reason for it. You just don't do it.
I think the right question is to ask is, was Jeffrey Epstein working for Israel? And I'm proud to say I don't take money from AIPAC. I don't take money from any special group of people. I'm just representing my district and the American people.
Yeah, this is also important. Worth noting, Jeremy Bash, former chief of staff at the CIA and the Department of Defense, and ex-husband of CNN host Dana Bash, had dealings with a top Israeli spy who stayed for weeks at a time at Jeffrey Epstein's apartment in New York. They continued to coordinate privately together for years. So that's another thing you have to remember. Like, Dana Bash is not only super pro-Israel, but she is connected to people who are connected to Jeffrey Epstein. So, like, you know, there is that. There is that. That's important to remember. So, oh, God, American politics is so crazy because, like, everyone is to the varying degrees of to varying degrees of evil. Okay, everyone's got like some evil in them, whether it be a member of the media, whether it be a politician. Of course, many politicians, but it's just like there's always something out there.
And so that's what I was referring to.
I just want to be clear. Are you saying Israel is pushing the president of the United States to cover up the Epstein files? And what evidence do you have that that is the case?
I simply asked. No, I simply just...
Just admit that you don't want to watch a beautiful woman succeed in politics? Oh, no, you clocked me. Are apolitical normies a non-factor in this equation? Any possibility normies influence institutional Republicans to take serious look at MTG as an alternative path for the Republican Party? No. I think the base is so cult-like in their loyalty to Trump that until that dam breaks, you won't see a lot of movement here.
Asked out loud, is there a foreign government? It could be any foreign government, but is a foreign government pushing to keep this covered up? Because people just don't understand the big fight against...
Well, you had AIPAC up there. It was pretty clear which government you were talking about.
That I'm questioning that government in particular and questioning any other foreign government.
Okay, when you're talking about lowering the rhetoric, which is important for everybody to hear from you and all of our elected officials.
The Massey Marjorie Taylor Greene bots have been flooding X for about a week now. Come on, man. Oh, he is like... He's on his Democratic Party shit right here. This is like very liberal coded. Oh, it's Russia. Oh, it's bots. Hey, guys, the affordability crisis is not that bad, okay? Everyone's lying. Your pockets aren't hurting right now, okay? How dare you? How dare you assume that you're actually having a tough go at it? Come on. We've improved. The price of turkey has gone down by 2 cents. Don't you like marginal and modest and incremental gains? This is hilarious to see in action.
But there is some concern, a lot of concern among Republicans about the rise of anti-Semitic hard-right figures in your movement, especially after Tucker Carlson hosted white nationalist Nick Fuentes on his...
Okay, I don't think MTG... Marjorie Taylor Greene literally hired Milo Yiannopoulos. And I'm pretty sure she still has a direct connection to Milo Yiannopoulos. Okay? You need to understand something like that is... Also, Marjorie Taylor Greene said Jewish space lasers did wildfires. Like, what are we talking about? She is the elected representative version of Nick Fuentes, or at least used to be. What the fuck? I mean, look, I'm here for the heel turn. I'm here to watch him fight, okay? Yeah, she spoke at, I think, a Nick Fuentes conference, like an America First conference. So let's see what she says.
I asked, didn't question Fuentes about his vile language or views. You did speak at a conference hosted by Fuentes back in 2022. You were criticized, and you said then that you didn't know about his views. Well, Fuentes talked to Carlson about that in the interview. Listen to what he said.
Well, again, with Marjorie.
Yeah, also, Dana Bash is the last person to fucking complain about Nick Fuentes. I'm sorry, okay? Before people go, 2 wrongs don't make a right or whatever, she literally has had Randy Fine on her fucking broadcast, okay? It's ridiculous. And also, Dana Bash herself has similar opinions, maybe not as extreme as Randy Fine, but like Dana Bash is also fucking pro-Israel, you know? Israel's doing a genocide. Like, this is a real instance of violence that's currently taking place that she is in support of. This is the dynamic that frustrates me so much, because as someone who finds Nick Fuentes' politics to be repugnant, I also find pro-Israel politics to be equally as repugnant. That's it. That's what's so fucking annoying about this shit, where it's like, you can, like, this only reaffirms what people see, the inconsistency that people see in American politics, which is you can be as horrible as you want to every single marginalized identity except for Jewish people. Now, many liberals, I don't think, actually operate like that, but members of the media do operate like that, it seems. Like, that's what I'm seeing from the way that they are tailoring their commentary here. And there are others who have also pointed this out. Nick Fuentes is anti-Semitic, but this level of outreach from Dana Bash is disingenuous. CNN has interviewed Randy Fine multiple times, and they've never held him accountable for any of his vicious Islamophobia. They have no problem when other groups are being targeted. Yeah, this kind of stuff is visible first and foremost to the right-wingers, by the way. They see this shit. And when they see that inconsistency, it causes them to lean further into anti-Semitic conspiracies. You know what I mean? It is such a glaringly obvious double standard that I think even the dumbest guy can recognize it. And then they go, oh, I'm noticing. It's like if Nick Fuentes never said what he has said about Jews, but instead said it about every other minority, as he does, for the record, he does say those things about every minority, right? He would not be in this kind of trouble. It's obvious.
I was a friend of hers, and she spoke at my conference, and then the day after, she pretended like she didn't know me. She pretended like she didn't know me and lied and said I had no idea the conference I was speaking at. She knew exactly what it was.
What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, I defend every single person's free speech rights. I think that's incredibly important. So I don't apologize for that, and I don't believe in canceling people. And I think it's important for people like Tucker Carlson and yourself to interview everyone. I don't believe in trying to cancel someone by refusing to interview them and question them. And I did speak at his conference back in 2022. However, I don't know Nick Fuentes. He's someone I've never exchanged text messages with or phone calls, but I did speak at his conference. That was the first time I had met him that day, and that was it. But I did watch the interview. I watched the full interview with Tucker, and I admire him for interviewing many people as well as exposing a lot of powerful information.
I hear what you're saying.
He does on his show.
I hear what you're saying about free speech. I mean, count me as guilty as a proponent of free speech. There's free speech, and then there is hate speech. And this is a man invited on a really prominent conservative show who said, even during that interview, he had a problem with, quote, organized Jewry, and he wasn't challenged on it. In the past, he had...
Yeah, once again, why free speech and there's hate speech? Okay. CNN host attacked Tucker Carlson for hosting Nick Fuentes, fair enough, but they've hosted Randy Fine multiple times, who has been openly as violent and as racist as Fuentes. But because Fine called for violence against Palestinians, CNN sees that as just standard political discourse. And Randy Fine hasn't just called for violence against Palestinians. He's also called for violence against Muslim congresspersons like Ilhan Omar, for example, and Muslims in the United States of America. Randy Fine is more overtly Islamophobic than even Nick Fuentes is overtly anti-Semitic, because like there is still a degree of stigma, institutional stigma specifically, around anti-Semitism. So Nick Fuentes has to like dial it back, and it still comes out, right, at times, but no such institutional stigma exists for Islamophobia. So Randy Fine gets to say whatever the fuck he wants about Muslims. And the thing is, this is a reality that Nick Fuentes himself is aware of, and he will use to his advantage. Here it is. Look.
Even those people that are criticizing Israel. Because to say it's about Zionism or about a genocide is really just not even...
Are you okay with anti-Semitism but not Islamophobia? Can you point to a single moment where I've said I'm okay with anti-Semitism? Can you actually point to a single instance where I've ever actually allowed anti-Semitism to manifest in this community? You can't. I fight against anti-Semitism every single fucking day. Every single day. My bad, King. I was curious. Okay. What's frustrating about this process, like what's frustrating about this dynamic, is that it also feeds into anti-Semitism. That's it. Like it's just, bro, why are you streaming? Go have some soup dumplings. First of all, it's 9 a.m.
The whole picture here. So Dasha Nekrasova got fired by Hollywood for hosting an anti-Semitic person that says Jews run Hollywood. Insane. But we all know this is how it goes. We all know this is the way it works.
What do you think about Mohammed El-Kurd tweet about Jewish supremacy? Israel is a Jewish supremacist nation. Zionism is a Jewish supremacist politics. It's a Jewish supremacist ideology. It's fascist. It is true. I don't even know what Mohammed El-Kurd said, but everybody gets so in their fucking feelings about this. But there is a degree. It's interesting because Zionism is billed to the in-group as a Jewish supremacist ideology, except at the same time, it does have a higher degree of priority for whiteness as well, which is part of the reason why you have like 1 million Russians who aren't ethnically or religiously Jewish that have Israeli citizenship, for example. So like, it's first and foremost a settler colonial project, right? So it's not even like it's more complicated than black and white, if that makes sense. Also, yeah, Dasha is a great example of this inconsistency. Dasha from Red Scare has been photographed dressing a target as in the gun range as a Palestinian. She's friends with other Nazis as well. She's done a whole bunch of stuff. She's said horrible things. She has been actively presenting herself as like a reactionary. So it wasn't her own racism that actually got her to be dropped from her talent agency. It was actually her collaboration with Nick Fuentes that did it. And that, to me, once again, reinforces this double standard.
And you have to consider the following. When Trump got elected, there was this feeling that cancel culture was over, right? Am I wrong in saying this? A year ago, I think you could even say it was the consensus that comedy had been legalized and cancel culture is over, and a spirit of liberalization, and by that I mean openness, had come to America. That we'd emerged on the other side of the woke, cancel culture, political correctness, the peak of that, which might have been reached, let's say, arguably in 2022 or 2023. And this had a lot to do with Elon acquiring Twitter and other things. But what we have seen ever since then is that was really just half the story. Cancel culture did not end. It ended about certain topics. You have license to be cruel to brown people. Am I wrong? That's what that meant. When people said cancel culture was over, it meant that you can say offensive things about black people.
One sec, gotta consult my Discord full of stalkers. Famously, Charlie XCX friend said he's getting play on CNN now. I mean, yeah, the president was just asked about him. What is this? We need to have an honest conversation about Jewish supremacy, and I don't mean this in a weird Islamist way either. Jewish supremacy is rooted in the belief that anti-Semitism is a unique form of evil that is more morally urgent than other kinds of racism. I'll write something about it in the next week or so. Yeah, I mean, I know where Mohammed El-Kurd is coming from. First and foremost, his family's home was literally stolen in Israel. Like, very publicly. Very publicly. Like, remember the guy, Jacob, who was like, oh, if I don't steal it, somebody else will. You don't understand. Like, remember that settler in the West Bank? That was Muhammad. That was Muhammad's family's home in Sheikh Jarrah. Okay? That is the El-Kurd family home. The backyard video, that's his sister's house. Yaqub from Brooklyn or Long Island. So just remember that. Wait, no way, what the fuck? Yeah, no, that's Muhammad's home. If anyone has the clip, I'll pull it up. But that could be said about other marginalized groups and forms of oppression too. It's called Oppression Olympics. A lot of people engage in it. No, we're not talking about Oppression Olympics. We're talking about institutional stigma. Okay? There is only, right now as it stands, amongst the Republicans who have run on a campaign of it's no holds barred. You can be fucking mean and ruthless to every marginalized group. Except for one group, right? Like they are the ones who are operating on this wavelength. All bigotry is repugnant, morally abhorrent, and unacceptable. But some bigotries are permissible by the institutions. As a matter of fact, a lot of bigotry is cast aside as marginal or inconsequential or not that important, as opposed to one type of bigotry that still has some kind of institutional stigma associated with it, where you'll get dropped from your agency or whatever, right? Like Amy Schumer can say whatever the fuck she wants about Palestinians, Muslims in general. And of course, like Melissa Barrera can't even criticize Israel without getting fucking fired. Like Melissa Barrera didn't even do anything that was anti-Semitic, right? You spend all your time platforming piece of shit right-wingers and not socialist candidates in upcoming elections. Why don't you platform good people? Because I live in the fucking real world, okay? I do platform good people all the time, and I will continue to do that. But if you think that we just have to fucking bury our heads in the sand about the growing neo-Nazi movement in the country, you are fucking stupid. Platforming. Thank you. Hey, am I platforming Nick Fuentes? Wait, hold on. Let me see something real quick. Where is it? That's the fucking president being asked about it. Trying to defend it. They are doing genocide. We are funding it. The circle of evilness. Trying to defend it. Deafening like a pedo. What are you talking about? You guys must be getting exhausted. What is this guy saying? Imagine a world in which criticizing Saudi Arabia would get you dropped by a talent agency in the U.S. That's what we have for Israel, but it's not even a one-to-one. Yeah.
Again, about brown people, about Muslims. And our Republican Party and our Republican government and the conservative movement was willing to look the other way. They said, now we're willing to tolerate cruelty and abuse and stereotypes and jokes and offensive things and maybe, you know, a degree of identity politics from white people and against non-whites, the third world, Muslims, barbarians, even about women. J.D. Vance said that it's liberal cat ladies, it's white liberal cat ladies that he hates the most. They're the biggest problem. So they tolerated all this.
It's so funny because, like, this is the purest expression of Republican politics, reactionary politics. He's a Nazi, right? And Nazi fascism or white Christian nationalism, which is like what his version of it is, in the United States of America, is the purest expression, the purest distillation of Republican politics. It's the core, which is why it's so alluring for many. And that is the reason why it's so terrifying for a lot of people in the Republican Party, because they don't want to go to that degree. They don't want to go there. They don't want to take it there. And not because they're fearful that, like, the Republican Party is going to do the Holocaust to Electric Boogaloo or something. They don't want to go there because they don't give a shit about Jews either. Let's be real. Like, the Republicans in power don't give a shit about Jews either. Okay? But this actually threatens America's continued allegiance with Israel. It creates too much discontent. And because it's the purest form of reactionary politics, it presents a real threat for institutional power. Because if you were to have someone who actually is genuinely anti-Israel and genuinely anti-Semitic, then all of a sudden, if they were able to win office, then they could change the trajectory of American foreign policy, at least in the way that Americans, in the way that the State Department deals with Israel, in the way that State Department has a seemingly never-ending loyalty to Israel. That's the reason why Republicans are afraid.
Offensive stuff against every other group. But what was happening all the time is that, of course,
who was the Nazi that got punched? Was that Fuentes? No, that was Richard Spencer.
Is that you could never criticize the Jews in Israel. So the left can hate on white people, the right can hate on non-white people, but nobody is allowed to say anything about Jews. Nobody is allowed to say anything about Israel. And isn't that fucked up? I don't care if you're from the right or left, or you're white or black. We can all agree that that is basically the arrangement. The left hates whites, and the right is very offensive towards non-whites. That's fair to say. I say nigger on the show. I know black people are offended by that, I'm sure. And black people on the left say very offensive things about whites. And we're fighting each other. The right is fighting the left is fighting the right. The whites are asserting identity politics against the non-whites. The non-whites are asserting their grievance politics against the whites. And you know who sits outside all of it? It's this other group. And they will lean in on either side. Stephen Miller will lean in and attack white hippie boomers that suck and Hispanics. And you'll have Jews on the left that'll attack, white people, and Jews on the right will attack black people. But the one group that is totally outside criticism, the one group that is totally outside accountability is Jews. If you talk about the way they're organized, the way they behave, you get fired. You lose your job. And by the way, this is what Ye was talking about a few years ago.
I think it's so insane that his analysis is look, listen to his words, right? When he says criticism, oh, he dropped the hard R. I didn't hear that. I was in the room, but I didn't even notice that he did that. But when he guys, shut the fuck up. I'm doing political commentary over a prominent neo-Nazi that the motherfucking president of the United States is addressing. Okay. Yes, he said the N-word. We have shown videos of Lee Atwater also saying the N-word. Calm the fuck down. Okay. Jesus Christ. This is the state of affairs in America, okay? Become a fucking adult right now. Wake up. Wake the fuck up. Lock in. This is where we're at in our politics. If you don't fucking like it, you can go somewhere else. You can imagine an alternative vision. Go watch some fucking slop tubers if you want to you know, pay attention to nonsensical bullshit. Unfortunately, this is where the fuck we're at, okay? Goddamn. He is a Nazi. Okay, you left the video playing itself. That's not the issue. Fuck up. Maybe woke with day, but I don't think it's okay to leave this playing without you being in the room to address it. If his words are playing on screen and don't push back, some idiots are gonna get duped. I am in the room. I'm literally right there. I'm in the fucking corner of the room, getting putting coffee in the fucking coffee machine. Okay, listen. One of the things he also pay close attention to his words. One of the things that he's doing here, aside from saying the literal N-word, is that he is trying to make it seem like his racism is actually simple criticism and accountability. It's fucking bullshit. Okay? It's bullshit. Where he turns around and makes it seem as though, like, oh, well, you know, conservative Jews hate black people and liberal Jews hate white people. Everyone gets to hate on everybody except for Jewish people, right? He masquerades or tries to make it seem like pure unfiltered racism and bigotry is actually not an idiotic form of hatred, but instead reasonable criticism, right? It's ridiculous. HasanAbi's not saying it's based in true. He clearly doesn't agree with him. Obviously, I don't. People are just 2 to 3 years ago, you try to not give this fucking idiot attention, and now his name and actions are being brought up directly to the president. What a timeline. I know. And you have to understand something, okay? None of this is acceptable. In polite society, none of this should be acceptable. I'm in favor of no bigotry, not all bigotry. If Nick Fuentes is in favor of all bigotry, I'm on the exact opposite of that, where I'm saying none of it is acceptable. But the very fact that the media does have a carve out almost that they cynically weaponize too, because it's not just the media getting mad about anti-Semitism. It's also oftentimes the media getting mad at things that aren't even anti-Semitic that they present as anti-Semitism. And the only takeaway for the average American from that conversation is, okay, what the fuck? Is this what we have to worry about all the goddamn time? Like nonstop? Especially considering that at least currently, this might change, and it wasn't the same throughout history, but at least currently, there is no systematic discrimination against Jews in the same way that there is for black people, for example, or brown people, right? There is discrimination against Jews. Jews are a marginalized population, at least historically, right? And people still do hate crimes against Jewish people, but there is no systemic discrimination against Jews in contemporary American society in the way that it used to exist. Like Jews not being able to go to college, for example, or Jews not being able to Jews being systematically discriminated against. That used to exist in this country. In modern society, it does not. And in the absence of that, there is still a tremendous amount of coverage, hyper focusing on both real anti-Semitic incidents and even things that are not anti-Semitic being presented as anti-Semitism. And that makes most people who aren't Jewish, who have never been around Jewish people, look at the situation and go, why the fuck do we care about this? What the hell is going on? And that's exactly how people like Nick Fuentes can present themselves as truth tellers, as people who have identified this inconsistency and are unafraid to say it. If you want to understand how this person has been able to rise to such a degree of prominence, it's primarily because of Israel, and more consequentially, it is the way that our organs of the media, the way that they have covered this issue, the way that they have actually defended Israel or contextualized Israel's violence or attacked Israel's critics. David Frum compared you and Zoran to Nick. They're downplaying this Nazi. Exactly. Who is the national Democrat who will speak as honestly and courageously about Mamdani and Piker as Ted Cruz has spoken about Carlson and Fuentes? The disease is worse than the GOP side, but the immune system is weaker on the Democratic side. This is ridiculous. Like, this is incredibly sinister. David Frum is a pro-Israel stooge, right? He writes for The Atlantic, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, literally is an Israeli concentration camp guard, or was an Israeli concentration camp guard. There are still a lot of people who don't fucking understand. I mean, he's a war criminal himself. David Frum is, right? One of the prominent champions of the Iraq War, right? But the point is, you're stating anti-Semitism used to have a space and no longer does, while racism did and does, but is systemic. I don't disagree, but you're articulating it in a way that is poor. What? I would argue you're making the argument for the right now. What? I'm making the argument for the right. Yeah. To give specific examples of what you're saying, Jews used to be excluded from bar associations, used to be excluded from country clubs, used to be excluded from working at companies and unions and et cetera, et cetera. They are not any longer, right? I think it's crazy that you could easily clip Fuentes here, and it seems like a sentiment most of us agree with. He literally says the end of woke just means a green light for cruelty to brown people. Out of context, it's just him saying this is a good thing. It sounds like him calling out a real societal ill. Exactly. That's the problem. Okay? That is precisely the problem. And people like this, people like David Frum, people who are conservative, but on the liberal side, or, you know, go back and forth, centrist, conservative, liberal, Zionists, unironically lean into this shit. I have a policy of being honest, first and foremost. And this is a dishonest comparison, okay? This is a dishonest comparison. You are trying to compare me to a Holocaust denier. You are trying to compare me to a person that believes that the what did he say? The organized Jewry is fundamentally playing a fundamental role in like undermining Western civilizational supremacy. These are not things that I believe. These are things that I actually oppose and talk about quite openly. These are politics that I find despicable. As a matter of fact, part of the reason why I also despise Israel and Zionism is because it is also another version of fascism. Nick Fuentes' politics, but with different victims. Okay? But the more you do stuff like this, the more David Frums of the world do stuff like this, the more people look at this and go, okay, I know this guy Hasan. Maybe I don't like him that much, but I've literally seen him yell at Nazis for years and years. And you guys are calling him anti-Semitic too. Who is not anti-Semitic then? Only people who are pro-Israel? What the fuck is that? Watching this vid is acceptable. Seems like we're backdooring his views here. Let Trump platform him. Doesn't mean we have to. Shut the fuck up. All right, new hater unlocked. Guy who refuses to recognize how devastating American politics is becoming, that thinks I'm the one who's actually sheepdogging people in the direction of anti-Semitic fascism because I'm analyzing why Nick Fuentes is gaining more prominence by talking about broader systematic and cultural forces at play that have arrived Americans at this position where they're so open-minded to this kind of commentary. Guys, I saw a tweet the other day that I think is really good, and it reminded me of, in this moment, I'm reminded of this tweet that I saw, right? There was someone fucking complaining about, like, one battle after another, and they were complaining that, like, they saw it in the movie theaters, and people were laughing at the wrong things and clapping at the wrong things, right? And someone, quote, retweeted that and said, now that woke is coming back, and I'm very excited for it, we have to cut some parts of woke 1 out from the equation, so woke 2 is a little bit cleaner. And this kind of like your content consumption is activism version. Your content consumption is actually a true form of activism type of woke needs to go away. This, you're platforming. I will refuse to understand the nuance of what you're doing here and just get angry at you. It needs to go away. We can't do that in woke 2, okay? That was one of the more annoying parts of woke 1. Something that I push back a lot. We got to stop that. Platforming as a criticism has always been so pointless. No, it's not necessarily pointless. If there is a fucking no-name, nonsensical neo-Nazi and plucking them from irrelevance is platforming them. But if that fucking neo-Nazi has already dined with the goddamn president and is now being quoted in mainstream news every single day and is causing a genuine fissure in the Republican Party, then it's no longer platforming. You're just a fucking moron if you think that that is platforming. You cannot platform someone who already has a massive platform, okay? You can't do that. There is no such thing as platforming when someone is on Tucker Carlson, when someone is getting called out by name in the Heritage Foundation and clearly causing a fissure within the Republican Party. If you think that that's platforming, you're a fucking idiot, okay? Shut up. Anyway, yeah. Woke 2 making a big comeback means we're going to have to start cutting these parts of Woke 1 off like dead limbs if we want to survive. Watching movies is the right/wrong way. Activism is not a style of criticism anybody's interested in hearing about in 2015. Yes, we can't do that. Even if it's criticism that's valid, we can't do that. Sometimes it feels like the left would rather dig in their heads into the least confrontational and comfy communities just to circle jerk about theory and daydream about some supposed future revolution instead of acting in the reality that we live in where fascism is winning. Exactly. I've never done that and I never will do that. You know, if you want that, you got to go somewhere else. Okay? If you want that, you got to go somewhere else. You got to organize in the world that we live in, not the world that you imagine we're inside of. Hot fix for woke 1.9.6.3. Consumption of content is no longer activism. Criticize people for watching content no longer provides woke points. Yes. But yeah, I like this one. I'm going to co-retweet David from Compare. I'm an anti-Zionist who has always combated anti-Semitism. Comparing me to a Holocaust denier is exactly why Nick Fuentes gains more prominence. You sound like a robot? Okay. I mean, I think people pointing out, laughing at the wrong things, commenting on lack of awareness, and what? Admonishing consumption? Okay. You need to make a do's and don'ts list for woke too? Sure. Anyway, let's finish this fucking thing. Hold on.
That suck, and Hispanics. And you'll have Jews on the left that'll attack, white people, and Jews on the right will attack black people. But the one group that is totally outside.
Guys, you need to stop with this. At least pause the video next time, please. Stop. Also gone and woke too. Too emotional. You want me to baby you. Okay? You're a fucking adult. Stop. You're being fucking annoying. And I know the more I talk about it, the more you're going to make this your primary fucking reason for why you are mad. It's okay. It's going to be all right. I promise you. Stop. Some of you want me to change your diapers. Okay?
Criticism, the one group that is totally outside accountability is Jews. If you talk about the way they're organized, the way they behave, you get fired. You lose your job. And by the way, this is what Ye was talking about a few years ago. He was talking about it this year. He said, if I make a song about killing black people, it goes triple platinum. If I make a song about being a gangbanger and killing black people, other black people, and abortion and violence, then I'm a triple platinum recording artist. I'm honored at the Grammys. I'm honored at the White House. I'm honored by Rolling Stone magazine and the New York Times. If I make a song called Heil Hitler.
Like, this is, again, another incredibly fucking idiotic argument. A rapper talking about his own fucking personal experiences growing up, which might include fucking violence, is entirely different than someone highlighting Adolf Hitler, okay? A ruthless Nazi mass murderer. What the fuck? These are all a sequence of false equivalencies that unironically work with the dumbest people in society. It's the same reason why people can always get away with, oh, you can make fun of white people, but if I say something about black people, all of a sudden it's a big problem. Yeah, it is. Because white people, especially in the United States of America or in the Western world, have never been systematically discriminated against on the virtue of their fucking whiteness. They have been discriminated against and ruthlessly brutalized on the virtues of class. As a class issue, yes, this is true. And it's so fucking annoying that every time you try to answer the reverse racism shit, people just want no context, no nuance, just black and white answers. And if you are incapable of nuanced thinking, then yes, this works so well for you. You go reverse racism. Yeah, you're right. Why is it that? Why is it acceptable? Okay, why is it acceptable? I think I want this absurd comparison. It makes me feel better. Okay, every single thing that he's dropping in here is actually super old school Republican politics, which is why I always say Nick Fuentes' politics is the purest distillation of reactionary politics. What he's saying here, maybe not about the anti-Semitism, but what he's saying here is what you heard from Bill O'Reilly, what you heard from Glenn Beck, what you heard from Rush Limbaugh over and over and over again. The notion that, I say one thing about how violent and angry these blacks are and everybody gets up in a tiffy, but You can say whatever you want about white people in America and no one gets mad. This double standard is ridiculous. It's like, that's not a real double standard. That's not a real double standard because there has been no active, systematic form of oppression against white people, both at any point in American history, on the basis of whiteness. Okay? Nobody was enslaved purely because they were white. That's the reason. This is also the reason why the N-word is not just a mean word that hurts black people's feelings, but it's more so a reflection of white supremacist history, a reminder of white supremacist history, and a consistent demand to restore that racial pecking order, or to remind people that that racial pecking order to some degree still exists. It is a way to dehumanize every single black person across the board. That's the reason. Without chattel slavery, the N-word would not be as consequential. Without colonial extraction and the rape of Africa, the N-word would not, it would be like cracker, I guess. It's such a strange alternative universe that it's impossible to actually think about that alternative universe. But like, that is the reason why the N-word is as powerful as it is, right? But a lot of white people, I don't think, understand this. They just think, oh, it's just a mean word that black people get offended by. Why are they so fucking offended? That's it. What about the people who point out that black people also enslaved other black people? Oh, my Lord. To attribute a unique form of violence that is chattel slavery, that even historians acknowledge is separate, that was racialized by design to black people is one of the most insane statements of all time. Okay? Chattel slavery and the consumption and the beneficiaries of chattel slavery were white people. How many black slavers were in the US? Like 20? No, I don't even think they're talking about black slavers specifically. I think they're talking about like the African tribal leaders that would engage in tribal warfare and then would, in certain instances, sell off the victims of whatever sect that they had dominated to the Westerners that came in. And if you actually looked at the history of African development, there were plenty of instances where the Western world straight up did not want Africa to develop and did not want to actually take advantage of any of the other material resources that Africa was very wealthy in. Africa has been a very wealthy continent, very materially rich, very resource-rich continent. And historically, Western colonialists have decided, we don't want any of that shit. We only want people. We only want slaves. If you look to the history of trade in Africa, in many instances, people pushed back against this. And in many instances, they wanted to engage in normal trade, and yet they were stopped. They did not want competition. Western colonists did not want competition with other material resources that were being extracted. They simply wanted human beings to enslave. Transatlantic slave trade was also massive in industrial industry on a scale that slaves were reduced to livestock slavery in most other cultures still recognized by owned by humans. The reduction of humans to products of labor is and was unique to this process. Exactly. In any case, let's get back to this guy.
He said, if I make a song about killing black people, it goes triple platinum. If I make a song about being a gangbanger and live on my show on Monday, this coming Monday, and I said, fuck Islam. I said, these Muslims need to go home. Fuck them. They're barbarians. They're third worldists. They like to live in open sewage and bomb crap. You think any conservative would disavow me? Any of them? Any Republican? You think if I was known for saying that, do you think I would have any trouble getting in?
He's talking about Ben Shapiro, by the way. Ben Shapiro has said those things. Palestinian Arabs like to bomb shit and live in sewage. That was a Ben Shapiro quote.
To CPAC or the New York Young Republican Club Gala or the GOP? Of course not, because Laura Loomer has access to the White House and she says stuff like that. Ben Shapiro has access to Trump and he says stuff like that. Could you imagine? Not to be a boomer here.
This is precisely the contradiction that people like Nick Fuentes will consistently exploit. Okay? It's true. And that is exactly why he has risen to prominence. Because if your entire political machine revolves around dominating marginalized groups, okay, dominating out groups, built around this association with whiteness as the in-group, okay, but then you still hold a special place and special emphasis for one version of bigotry then of course people like Nick Fuentes will exploit that over and over again. The worst thing that you can do is allow your enemy to have a correct argument. Okay? That is the worst possible thing you can do. Okay, the Groypers are in here now. First time chatters.
Would you imagine if the shoe were on the other foot? It has to be left unsaid. Could I turn around and say F Judaism and those Jews and send them back to Israel? Like, it's literally unthinkable to even say the words. But we all know it's tolerated with Muslims. We all know it's tolerated with blacks. We all know it's tolerated with Hispanics, Asians. And yes, for far too long, it was tolerated against whites and Christians. And that's just the part that got left out. But now that we have this culture of liberalization and political correctness is dead and racial humor is back, everybody's engaging in it. But if you say anything about them, it's a big problem. Even if it's, as we talked about with this idea of a global Jewry, oh, now it's anti-Semitic. Now people are going to lose their jobs again. Here's the point. Cancel culture never ended. Cancel culture was always about this. And I think people even underestimated that.
He loves to play victim. I was banned from CPAC, debanked, and banned on social media sites because I spoke the truth about Islam. He will never admit that, though, because he's a pathological liar. I love Laura Loomer responding to drop site news on here. If you had said any of that about Christians, you would not be allowed back into America. No, that's not true. America's a Christian nation first and foremost, okay? It was built by WASPs. It's a WASP nation. You can absolutely get away with saying shit like that about Christians, just like you can absolutely get away with saying shit like that about white people. But that is a cultural resentment that a lot of people like Nick Fuentes also take advantage of, where they're like, why can you say this about white people? And it is my job to explain to people why there is a difference here, okay? There's a difference between like someone saying something mean while they're engaging in analysis versus someone just being like openly fucking racist against marginalized identities. What is this? These Nazis always projecting? Oh no, not property violence. What is this? I can't see it. Anyway. Fuentes takes Trumpism to his natural conclusion. People like Rufo or Walsh have too much to gain personally in terms of career opportunities or money to truly support tearing down the system. They've tied the market capitalism, which gets in the way. From Groyper's POV, there's no fundamental difference between neoliberalism or neoconservatism. This is not true for the post-COVID right. They are just going to vote Republican forever and ever, no matter who the nominee is. They would vote for Randy Fine. What? Fuentes might even be more depraved than MAGA, but he's also an intelligent, tactical, sophisticated political actor in a way that his far-right compatriots aren't. It's equal parts refreshing and terrifying to be confronted with a fascist who actually has a brain in his head. I mean, yeah, I think that definitely is a danger. I admit that. That is definitely dangerous. The bar is very, I don't know about refreshing. The words that person is using is ridiculous, but he at least can carry himself like a person who has read a book. Okay? And that is an incredibly high bar to, incredibly low bar to clear, but one that he actually does clear for right-wing politics. Okay? Oh my God, still eating on this. Still eating on this. Take a fucking week off. I don't think refreshing is the appropriate word. I don't agree with that. Convert him to our side? There is no conversion for a person like Nick Fuentes. The fuck are you guys talking about? What do I always say? You can actually change regular people's minds, people who have been duped by the likes of Nick Fuentes, but you can't fucking change Nick Fuentes' mind when his entire goal is to do the conversion himself. You can talk to your friends. You can talk to people that you meet in the real world who might actually have these kinds of morally repugnant attitudes. You can talk to them. You can gently move them to your side, but you can't actually convert people who have a financial interest in presenting themselves a certain way. Okay? At that point, doesn't even matter if it's a sincerely held belief or if it's something that they're doing because they realize that they get more recognition that way. They get more prominence that way. Right? But yeah, the reason why we talked about this is because Dana Fash and CNN in general has had Randy Fine over and over again without ever calling into question some of the horrifying things that he has said. But let's be real, it's because he said that about appropriate groups. He said that about groups that nobody gives a shit about, nobody cares to defend. This inconsistency, especially on the right, will always be weaponized. Especially on the right, will always be abused. Because right-wing politics can never be about improving the material conditions of the working class. It is inherently reactionary. It's opposed to that, and therefore they play in the waters of culture war narratives And therefore, they talk quite a bit about petty grievances of the in-group, petty grievances of white people, perceived victimhood of white men. And a big part of that allegiance is around, especially for young men in particular, is around being able to just be as ruthless and as bigoted as you want to be, right? You're a pussy if you can't say slurs like, oh my God, you can't say the R word? What a bitch, right? Oh, I voted for Donald Trump because I can say the R word again, right? There are people who have done that. So if that's the core of your politics, if that's the core of your fucking politics, then of course Nick Fuentes is going to be the purest distillation of that, paired up with dramatic attitude shifts against Israel, swinging from either not really knowing what the fuck Israel is or just being unconditionally pro-Israel to, oh my God, Israel is a fucking the cancerous entity in the region that is so destructive to all of its neighbors, and that you should be able to call it out without it getting any fucking significant pushback, and yet people keep constantly fucking yelling at you and saying you're anti-Semitic, and you arrive at this media demon reaching a level of prominence. And he can very easily navigate this. He can very easily navigate this discourse by, one, exposing the contradictions by saying, oh, you get mad at me for saying this about Jews, but everybody is saying whatever kind of heinous shit about black people, about Muslims in general, which he also says, by the way. Like, he is on the exact opposite of this argument that I'm on, right? Like, we are on the exact polar opposites. I think all of that is unacceptable and fucked up. He thinks it's all acceptable and permissible. And if you can't make a distinction between those two things, if you can't decide, which side is right, which side is wrong, and you just go, no, they're both the same, I'm in the center and they're both seemingly the same, then you're basically allowing that kind of politics to be the norm. That's it.
With anti-Semite Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, what role do you think Tucker Carlson should play in the Republican Party and the conservative movement going forward?
Well, I found him to be good. I mean, he said good things about me over the years. I think he's good. We've had some good interviews. I did an interview with him. We had 300 million hits. You know that. Look, I can't tell him. Will you let me finish my statement? You're with Bloomberg, right? You are the worst. I don't know why they even have you. We've had some great interviews with Tucker Carlson, but you can't tell him who to interview. I mean, if he wants to interview Nick Fuentes, I don't know much about him, but if he wants to do it, get the word out. Let him, people have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide. The mayor of New York, I will say, would like to meet with us, and we'll work something out. But he would like to come to Washington and meet, and we'll work something out. We want to see everything work out well for New York.
Nice. We're fucking cooked. What are the broader implications of Trump not distancing himself here? I mean, he sees what's happening, I think. It's amazing how totally ignorant Trump is of the open war of the next GOP that's already breaking out all around him, totally uninterested in it, unconcerned about shaping it because he's completely incapable of thinking beyond his own tenure, lame as duck imaginable. I don't think that's the case here. And GT here says, I don't think that's quite right. Both Trump and Vance have clearly refusing to condemn. Well, both Trump and Vance have clearly refused to condemn Tucker and Fuentes. The reasonable inference is they think about the Groypers as a part of the movement, perhaps not to be openly embraced, but certainly not to be disavowed. Yeah, they can't afford to piss them off too much of their calculation. That's exactly the calculation is much more important than the drama at Heritage, but strangely under-discussed. Exactly. He knows that the next generation of Republicans is like that. The next generation of Republicans is like that. And he is worried about offending them. There's another question that he was asked about Nick Fuentes here. Let's see.
I did it with Nick Fuentes at Mar-a-Lago a few years ago. What role should he play in the conservative movement?
Well, I didn't know he was coming, and he was with, as you know, somebody, Kanye. And Kanye asked if he could have dinner, and he brought Nick. I didn't know Nick at the time. And he did. He came, and along with a few other people. He brought a few people with him. Meeting people, talking to people, like for somebody like Tucker, that's what they do. People are controversial. Some are, some aren't. I'm not controversial, so I like it that way.
I did it with Nick Fuentes at Mar-a-Lago a few years ago. What role?
That's crazy. I mean, he just straight up He's just straight up saying like, nope, this is the new meta.
Denied the Holocaust, called Adolf Hitler effing cool, talked about the fact that he thought Jim Crow was just fine, and on and on. So again, there's free speech, and then there's just hateful language and sentiments.
Well, Dana, again, I told you on this interview.
Why would Trump care about the next generation of Republicans? Because they're working as his staffers. They're a part of the base. They're eligible to vote. They're a wing of the party, and he can't stand to lose any of his loyalists at this point. He can't.
I'm committed to ending the toxic politics, and I think I don't want to have anything to do with it. You should have Nick Fuentes on your show, and you could ask him questions about that. I myself am not anti-Semitic. I have never criticized the Jewish people or said anything about them in particular. I am critical of the government of Israel.
Of their government.
And I can criticize any government I want to in the entire world, as well as our own. And a lot of the times I'm criticizing our own government for failing the American people. And I think that needs to be the focus. And that's the most important thing people care about, is being able to afford groceries, housing, health insurance, and having a...
Did they ever see Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nick Fuentes? That Nick Fuentes is Islamophobic as fuck, but will literally just... Nick Fuentes is Islamophobic as fuck and racist as fuck, but he's at least smart enough to be like, oh, really? You think it's unacceptable for me to say something about Jews, but, you know, you have Randy Fine on, and he can say whatever the fuck he wants about Muslims. Why? Marjorie Taylor Greene is not smart enough. That's why Nick Fuentes is more dangerous. Do you understand? Nick Fuentes is smart enough to actually address that, to hit that as a line.
Good quality of life.
Yeah, and I hear you saying you're not anti-Semitic, and you've said it before, and you know, some of the posts that you have put up, which you have apologized for, certainly have tropes in them that have been used historically against Jews. But I do want to end this conversation with a question.
Yeah, I mean, I already covered it. Yes, this is the drop side piece, but like, Nick Fuentes would praise Hitler and is openly anti-Semitic, says Republicans are hypocrites for tolerating cruelty and abuse towards Muslims, black people, and other minorities while drawing the line at anti-Semitism. He argues his own politics are simply the logical endpoint of that bigotry. It's true. He's right. It's literally fucking true. Republicans, I mean, I've been saying that. I've been saying that nonstop. Fascism is the purest distillation of reactionary politics. It is the logical endpoint, the logical conclusion of the Republican Party in this country. And unlike Pat Buchanan, and even Richard Spencer, as a matter of fact, it seems that Nick Fuentes came at the right time, okay? Because he's not the first. Why does the wording sound like he's been watching your streams? I'm certain that he does. I'm sure he does. At the right time, yes. At the right time to seize on, at the right time as in a time where the Republican Party is more open to an actual acknowledgement of fascist politics. Yes. No, that chatter is talking about Nick Fuentes' own analysis of him being the logical endpoint of Republican politics, which is true, and it's an analysis that I've actually engaged with quite a bit. Breaking: Dem fundraising group SRG reached out to Epstein in 2013 on behalf of the House Minority Leader, Representative Jeffries. Give us a call if you would like to get involved in the dinner, or you would like to get an opportunity to know Hakeem Jeffries better. That's crazy. I think the next successful pivot towards full fascism in America is a candidate co-opting the free healthcare, housing, and other socialist principles. Many fascists have done so in the past without mass education organization. The left will lose that fight. Yeah. What? Yeah, but what Nick wants to happen is let's be racist against everyone, even the Jews. Unlike you say let's end bigotry against everyone. The lesson they get from that is not to end racism, but let's normalize it for all under free speech. America first flag. Yeah, I know. That's my point. We are on the diametrical opposite worldviews here, which is why it is unimaginably frustrating to see dumbass bitches like David Frum running around and just trying to get people to see the dangers of the extreme left as well. And for most liberals, I think when they see that, they go, no, that's not the same. Shloan Rockmuth is a journalist who has decided to obsessively attack a staffer in his 20s because she doesn't like the views of his father. Every time I see a public attack on Buckley, it's a complete lie. And yes, I notice every person with an agenda who unfairly attacks a good guy who does a great job for me. Fuentes called this guy a fat gay race traitor married to, and this is a slur, I think, right? It's a common Indian name, but like I think right, Nazis use it as a slur. And yet he continuously humiliates himself by pandering to the Groypers. Yep. Don't say it. I mean, I said Jeet here earlier because it is a name as well. Like, that's literally a name as well. And that's contextually in that situation, it's actually being used as a slur, so I'm not reading it. But like, come on. It's not a slur. No, I know it's not a slur. It's a name. That's not an Indian name. It was made up to sound similar. And I think it's Prajit, right? Yeah, it's almost like Tyrone. Exactly. Yep. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. I think it's a common suffix too. Yeah, it's also just a name. It's like literally anyway. Yeah, Jeet here appears on Majority Report all the time. Yeah, I just read his commentary as well. He's
Question to you, and that is, do you see a situation where you and President Trump can make up? And if not, do you think you have a future in the GOP?
Well, I certainly hope that we can make up. And there's, again, I can only speak for myself. I'm a Christian, and one of the most important parts of our faith is forgiveness. And
okay, cool.
President Trump is doing just about everything in his power to quash a story that just will not go away, the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. And that includes name-calling. Just yesterday, the stunning fallout between him and one of his biggest loyalists intensifies as he attacked MAGA Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene as a, quote, traitor amid her push to release the Epstein files. This after using the power of his government to try to change the focus of the story away from him, demanding a Justice Department probe of Democrats' ties to Epstein, something Attorney General Pam Bondi quickly said she would do, despite DOJ's past assessment that there wasn't evidence worth pursuing. But to Trump's dismay, he's about to face the biggest rebuke from his party of his entire second term, when later this week, scores of House Republicans plan to vote to release the case files, all as some newly released Epstein emails show Trump mentioned by name, though the president has not been accused of any criminal wrongdoing. Still, he made clear this weekend he does not want to discuss any of it.
We think it's bad to talk about it because it gets away from the subject of how well the Republicans are doing. We have the greatest economy. We have the largest investment ever made in our country's history. We have all of these great things happen. When you talk about the Epstein hoax, what happens is you're not talking about how well we've done. This is a hoax put out by the Democrat, and a couple of few Republicans have gone along with it because they're weak and ineffective. But this is a Democrat hoax to get away from the fact that they just lost the shutdown and they've lost the elections. They've lost the big election, to me, in a record number.
All right, we have an excellent panel to break this all down. Let's go Politico's Dasha Burns, CNN's Jeff Zeleny, CNN's Isaac Dover, and the Washington Post's Mariana Sotomayor. Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
Nice to see you all. Okay, so when Marjorie Taylor Greene first came to Washington in 2021 as an unflinching Trump loyalist, someone who was MAGA through and through, wore a MAGA hat to the State of the Union on the House floor, and now Trump is putting out messages like this over the last several days, calling her a ranting lunatic, saying she's gone far left, she's a disgrace to our Republican Party, she's betrayed the entire Republican Party, she turned left, and then calling her a traitor just yesterday. Okay, first of all, wow.
Wow.
I was not expecting that. What is he trying to do here? Is it just to send a message to the rest of the party that he will not take even an ounce of dissension here?
Well, I think the big concern here is Marjorie Taylor Greene could be creating a permission structure for other Republicans, other MAGA Republicans, to start to disagree with the president, to buck him on some of these critical issues. I mean, look, Epstein opened the door, right? And it's still one of the biggest concerns for the White House in terms of how these votes are going to go in the House and then in the Senate. But Epstein, followed by some dissension on the president's foreign policy. Now, most recently, the suggestion of a 50-year mortgage. Even Fox News, Newsmax, influencers on the right are against that policy. We are seeing these fractures among the base that is just not something that the White House, especially President Trump himself, is used to.
Yeah, and it's, is it just what Trump always does here, which is anytime there's someone criticizes him, he goes after them, whether it's Liz Cheney or any other. You can go back down the line of Bob Corker, and for many, many years, this has been his MO. Is
Shut
it
up,
different,
chatters.
though, because it's MTG and who she represents?
I mean, I think
I'm posting about Rick Scott. I said if Mike Johnson was sincere about tackling Medicaid and Medicare fraud, instead of cynically using that line as a way to gut Medicaid by $800 million, they would offer you the maximum punishment since you engaged in record-breaking Medicare fraud. Calm down. I'm responding to Rick Scott, who is apparently crying about me on the timeline. Rick Scott, this deranged person urged his followers to kill me. Don't do it. Wait, why? I didn't say anything wrong here. I said if Mike Johnson was sincere about tackling Medicare and Medicaid fraud, instead of cynically using that line as a way to gut Medicaid by $800 million, they would offer you the maximum punishment since you engaged in record-breaking Medicare fraud. Or not 800 million, 800 billion, right? What the fuck? I said 800 million. It's actually by 800 billion. Shit. Oh, good call. I almost fucked it up. You're not as witty as you think. Don't say a non-specific they. It'll be spun more easily. True. Republicans, maximum legal punishment since you engaged in record-breaking Medicare fraud. There's no way it's 800 billion. Fact check before posting. No, dummy. Rick Scott's Medicare fraud was 1.7 billion, but Republicans were gutting Medicaid or have gut Medicaid by 800 billion. That is correct. Okay, now you don't fucking know what you are talking about. The 800 billion that we're talking about is the new bill that just passed, okay? The new bill that just passed. In a defense of this new bill that just passed, right up until that bill was passed, that would gut Medicaid by $800 billion, the defense from Mike Johnson was, oh, we're fighting against Medicare and Medicaid fraud. That is the BBB. Here, in the BBB. Is that better? It's actually 880 billion. Okay, fucking Christ, here.
Actions of the president are similar. I mean, we knew, obviously, as she has been sort of rising in her prominence, going on The View in recent weeks and really going after Speaker Johnson, and then really not backing down at all on the Epstein matter and other things. It's not just that. What I'm sort of struck by in this is her criticism is pretty broad-based. She's talking about affordability.
Healthcare.
She's talking about exactly. And things that look like, I still support you. She always sort of phrases it with, I still like the president, but. And those buts are getting pretty significant. So, Dasha, to your point about the permission structure, that is going to be interesting to see how many Republicans obviously join the ranks of voting to release the Epstein files. The White House still wants to keep that number down, but the reality is they know that there's very little
Are they going to push
do with
very
it.
hard to try to do that this week? Or are they
It's unclear. The pressure campaign last week to try and get Lauren Boebert to not sign the discharge petition, it failed spectacularly, and it was sort of an embarrassment. I mean, having a rank-and-file member of Congress over to the White House in the Situation Room complex to have this meeting, she ended up not removing her name from it. So we will see what the numbers are, but I am told the White House is still trying to keep them somewhat in check. We'll see if that's 75 Republicans, 100 Republicans. That would be extraordinary. But you just get the sense that things are a little bit different now. It's too early to call the president a lame duck. There's no doubt. But you can just get the sense that things are slightly
That's
different.
what's really scary for
different.
this White House about this is the idea that a lame duck period is looming here. And I think this gives that little flavor of it.
And it could be a window into the post-Trump era. Here's what MTG said about in responding to all of this. Among the things that she said the Americans wish he would fight this hard to help the forgotten men and women who are fed up with foreign wars and foreign causes, are going broke trying to feed their families, and are losing hope of achieving the American dream. That's what I voted for. Is she more in line with the base in some ways than Trump?
Well, look, I think the problem that she's hitting at here is that Donald Trump has not been able to answer the question why. Why is he fighting so hard to keep these files from being released? He's not explained that. He's also not explained why prices are not down when his entire campaign was really based on that idea that he would be attacking prices. And he has said, oh, maybe it's the leftover from the Biden days, but we are 10 months into the Trump presidency, and prices, it's not like they've stayed high, they've gotten higher. People are seeing electricity bills that are higher, they're seeing grocery prices that are higher, and the public seems to be associating that with the tariffs, and certainly Donald Trump does too, given that he despite this argument that the tariffs are because of a national emergency situation, that's how he gets around the law, and that he can just do it himself, is just...
I don't know if you see this, but I just want to thank you for all you do. I feel like a lot of things are lining up to allow our country to wake up and actually move forward as a society, and part of that is because you kept pushing through the hate And the harassment all of it so that you do inspires a lot of people to also just push. Good. Are you drinking Pepsi in a coffee mug? No, it's coffee in a coffee mug. I've had like 18 cups of coffee already. It's not good.
Haphazardly lowering them, including on the groceries in the last couple of days, just saying we're going to make coffee cheaper. Well, if the tariffs are getting rid of the tariffs of making coffee and other food and meat cheaper, then the tariffs made that food higher, the price is higher. And so that when Marjorie Taylor Greene hits on these things, it is this like, I thought that Donald Trump was saying he was the fighter for these things, and he has not shown it in her mind.
Yeah, and this is obviously comes ahead of this vote that's happening, we expect on Tuesday in the House to call for the release of the Epstein file. The Republican leadership was forced to do this despite the push by the White House to try to kill this effort for months. Now it is finally coming to a head on the House floor. But look, I want to first look at the polling about where the public stands at large about the issue of the Epstein files. Overall, just 19% of the public approve of Trump's handling of this, and that includes just 10% of independents. But that Republican number is pretty interesting. 44% of Republicans approve of Trump. I mean, that is unusual because typically Trump's like the 90% on most issues when it comes to Republicans. It's 44%. But it also speaks to why we expect in the House a significant number of Republicans to break ranks here. What are you hearing from your reporting in whether they can reach that critical threshold, which is 290, which is a veto-proof majority in the House? What is the likelihood of that?
I think it is possible, and the reason why is because the Epstein issue remains the singular issue that we have seen Republicans publicly flip on the president, publicly not attack him necessarily, but want to continue releasing the files. I mean, there are a number of even vulnerable Republicans who say, yeah, I'm going to sign on to this, and even some more hardliners who say that they will do this. However, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene has also pointed out that Trump is using her as an example. If you start to speak out against him, it is possible that he's going to come after you the way that he is now coming after me. So she even herself is saying maybe the numbers are not going to be as high as we once thought. But the fact that Speaker Johnson is going to try and bring this up onto the floor to make sure it has a 2/3 majority, it's still putting Republicans on the record, even if it doesn't pass.
You could still vote against the president, though, without sort of doing what Marjorie Taylor Greene has done. She's sort of gone out there, but that's why the roll call is going to be interesting, particularly for Republicans like Ashley Hinson, for example, from Iowa, who's running for Senate. This is becoming an issue in the 2026 campaign. So I think it'll be interesting to see how many Republicans support this without ever sort of really talking about it publicly. I mean, the president can't attack everyone to the degree that he's done Marjorie Taylor Greene.
But that's why the Democrats forced this to not be a voice vote, which is what the Republicans tried last week.
Roll call.
They want everybody
on the record, them on the record,
yes.
so then this will be an issue in the campaign.
For sure.
There is one thing that Republican lawmakers are more scared of than President Trump, and that's President Trump's base. And right now, Trump and his base are not on the same page about this issue and a number of others, and that is going to have an impact on how they vote.
She talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene, H-1B visas, and other issues that Trump is breaking with his base on.
That's the beauty of capitalism, baby. Trump is first and foremost a capitalist. And all the culture war stuff is supposed to be used as a distraction. That is the job of the culture war stuff. So when push comes to shove, of course he is going to abide by his capital-owning masters. When it comes to H-1B visa stuff, like racism, until it becomes a fully fascist movement, racism is usually just a not like a foundational principle necessarily, but or doesn't have the highest degree of priority amongst the American right-wing party. It is a galvanizing factor. It is very divisive. It's very successfully utilized. But at the end of the day, these guys, Donald Trump and everybody else, cares primarily about making sure that their capital owners are making money. That is the primary purpose. Is that fake fruit? No, it's real fruit. So a lot of people who are maybe some real racists, some real ass racists are going to look to the situation and go, what the fuck is this, bro? Why aren't we getting the treats? You said we were going to get the racism. Why is that not happening? Why are there still, Indians coming into the country and shit like that? President Trump on the Epstein files. House Republicans should vote to release the files because we have nothing to hide. As I said on Friday night, Aboard Air Force One, the fake news media, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files. Yeah, Zin with coffee is my favorite. House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide, and it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax perpetrated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party, including our recent victory on the Democrat shutdown. The Department of Justice has already turned over tens of thousands of pages to the public on Epstein and are looking at various Democrat operatives, Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, Larry Summers, etc., and their relationship to Epstein, and the House Oversight Committee can have whatever they are legally entitled to. I don't care. All I do care about is that Republicans get back on point, which is the economy, affordability, where we are winning big. Our victory on reducing inflation for the highest level in history to practically nothing, bringing down price for the American people, delivering historic tax cuts, gaining trillions of dollars of investment into America, a record, the rebuilding of our military, securing our border, deporting criminal illegal aliens, and ending men and women's sports, stopping transgender for everybody, and so much more. Nobody cared about Jeffrey Epstein when he was alive, and if the Democrats had anything, they would have released it before a landslide election victory. Some members of the Republican Party are being used, and we can't let that happen. Let's start talking about the Republican Party's record-setting achievements and not fall into the Epstein trap, which is actually a curse on the Democrats, not us. Make America great again. That's a very strange shift in confidence. It's either a bluff or they just agreed on a way to cut the nasty shit about him out. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they on background were able to find a way to cut this shit. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Gen Z protests, which aren't necessarily led by the Gen Z. Gen Z protests in Mexico demand justice for murdered mayor. So, as you guys might know, we are big fans of the Morena Party and Claudia Sheinbaum, who is an incredibly popular leader in Mexico. Like, actually unimaginably popular. And yet, for some reason, even though she has like 80% approval, at a time when the Trump administration is actively trying to present an argument as to why they must militarily dominate South America and North America, but just specifically every country in the every country beyond the southern border of the United States of America, right? Interestingly enough, Mexico is the next country that apparently is seemingly building a real movement, a real angered response against Claudia Sheinbaum, who is unimaginably popular. Now, there is also another anti-cartel mayor that was very popular in Mexico who got assassinated by the cartel. This created real anger and real resentment. Okay? What proof do you have that this is a CIA operation? I'm going to get to it. Okay? I think, first of all, it's purely speculative. The reason why I'm saying that it's potentially a CIA-backed or CIA-pushed movement, potentially, is not a CIA operation, I swear to God, is because while the anger, it has the workings of a color revolution for sure. And it didn't really work anyway, but it's not good that they were able to reach a boiling point here in Mexican politics that they could actually bring together this many people at all, or any people at all. It aligns perfectly with America's argument, with the American State Department's argument in Latin American countries. The argument that every single one of these Latin American countries are narco trafficking hubs, and they are narco states that actually play ball with cartels, and they must be violently squashed, no matter how fucking popular they might actually be with the population. Claudia Sheinbaum is overwhelmingly popular in Mexico. It is not like any of these other tension points that have bubbled up all around the country. Things that we saw in Indonesia. Like the Gen Z uprising thing has been presented all around the world, right? You're so wrong. Lol, get the fuck out. You don't know shit about Mexico. Lol, dude, seriously, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying you don't know shit about Mexico politics. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, so wrong, it's not even funny. Listen, if you are one of these fucking liberals that is going to sit here and talk about how unpopular Claudia Sheinbaum actually is, you can just silence yourself, okay? There has been a lot of discontent. There's been a lot of discontent, especially amongst the youth, in many other countries around the world. This one, in particular, is real anger that boiled up, like a real anger that reached a boiling point due to an anti-cartel mayor being assassinated by the cartel. This is real, right? There was real resentment and real anger towards this. And then it very quickly was seized by the neoliberal former old guard of Mexican politics who have despised Morena, who despised AMLO, and certainly despise Claudia Sheinbaum. Okay? And this is a great example of this. Former Mexican President Vicente Fox, during the recent Gen Z protests, appeared wearing a strawman hat pirate t-shirt. It's over. They've totally fucking co-opted the strawman pirate shit. Okay? Just because there is real discontent in the country, bro, what you're saying is correct, but you don't know what you're talking about. Wait, I'm confused. How does that work? The cartel issue has not been solved in Mexico. It's the number one problem. Okay? This is true. The cartel issue is the number one problem in Mexican politics that just like still dominates the lives of regular, everyday Mexican people. I was making fun of that chatter. I'm sorry, but the idea that this is CIA or US is very silly. The Mexican authorities are incredibly cooperative with the US intelligence, State Department, and military. This is not that deep. It is members of the marginalized opposition parties trying to use a galvanizing issue to drive a wedge in the otherwise popular governing coalition. I agree with that. But don't you also think that this works so fucking perfectly? So perfectly with the through line, with the argument that the State Department is presenting in all Latin American countries right now. I'm sorry, but it is, I don't disagree with you that there is like real animosity and the former marginalized, the former neoliberal parties are actually trying to use this as an opportunity. They see it as a weakness because it's almost impossible to fucking deal with the cartels. And they see this as a weakness. It's ironically part of the reason why they lost too. But when they were governing, and they're using this as an opportunity to fucking attack the government, to claw back some kind of power, okay? And yes, they're marginalized. They have marginal representation because people don't vote for them. But this government, our government, the United States government has said that they're going to attack Mexico over and over again. What fucking makes you think, even for a moment, what makes you think that this is not perfectly in line with their goals here? It's the same with Maduro and Machado. Machado gets a fucking Nobel Peace Prize after demanding violent military intervention in Venezuela. This administration very clearly having, this administration, the American administration very clearly has an ambition to further destabilize Latin American countries. And not only do they want to further destabilize Latin American countries, they want to violently attack Latin American countries. And they will use any kind of marginal reason to justify that advance. As far as what Cloud District Enjoyer is saying, in terms of both the AMLO government and the Claudia Sheinbaum government cooperating with American authorities, that is 100% correct as well, for the record. And Donald Trump seemingly likes Claudia Sheinbaum. Donald Trump liked AMLO as well, regardless of their ideological disagreements, for the record. So you're not wrong on that front either. The Mexican government, the Mexican federal government, has actually played ball with the Trump administration's anti-immigration agenda. That's a huge deal. They have. I would say that's a major part of the reason why they have actually been sheltered from the animosity that every other country has gotten in the region, even Canada, right? It is because Sheinbaum has continued the AMLO policies of abiding by the wishes of the American government, or specifically Trump, in terms of the anti-immigrant stuff that they want the Mexican government to do, just like hold the immigrants in Mexico rather than allowing them to cross the border, things like that. There is valid criticism against how the government has handled cartel violence in the early 2000s and 2010s. Felipe Calderon took a hard approach against the cartels, which led to an increase in cartel murders. Peña Nieto took $100 million in bribes, and AMLO did hugs and knots bullets, which I'm not a fan of, but understand is stopped the bleeding to some extent. So far, there is zero evidence for U.S. involvement besides the vague idea that it would be convenient for the U.S. narrative. There are a million more reasons to suggest that it's a failed internal attempt by the dying institutional parties to co-opt popular symptoms to crack down on the approval of the administration. I'm highly skeptical of this being organic. I don't think this is organic. I think the inception point is, the initial argument is organic, okay? But considering that it is identical to the argument that we are presenting with Venezuela, I'd be very careful to lean into this without assuming that there's some kind of fuckery going on. because color revolutions have oftentimes started with real resentment of an unsolved issue, internal politics leading to potentially even civil war in its most in the worst instances, potentially leading to civil war, oftentimes backed by outside groups that take advantage of that instability to dismantle a somewhat popular leader that isn't in and sometimes unpopular leaders that isn't in the periphery of the West or under the complete control of the Western interests. The populist revolution globally is unstoppable. The national palace in Mexico is under siege by its citizens amid discontentment with Claudia Sheinbaum, the World Economic Forum puppet. Narco-terrorism is the WMD of Latin America, okay? They're going to keep, I think the American government is going to keep doing this like, oh, these guys are narco states. These guys are narco states. They're led by the cartel. Yeah, they stoke internal division for external interests. And there are always willing participants like the marginal opposition flank. Yeah, discontent about cartel violence is real, but the right has co-opted this to push their agenda against Morena. U.S. is not happy that Mexico might join BRICS. I don't know. I mean, I think Mexico has been doing fairly well and is like getting closer to China, and I think that's part of the resentment. Mexico is one, though, yes. But even in instances where it's not a narco state like fucking Venezuela, they're still using it. And in Mexico, it's too much of a behemoth to actually tackle. I don't think Mexico is joining BRICS, but they are close to China. It does make me sad to see the fucking straw hat being used like this. If in your march there appear Nazi, Zionist, anti-Semitic, colonizing, sellout, misogynistic, and partisan speeches, and no one confronts them or removes them, it's not a slip-up, it's a stance. Simple. Your march is Nazi, Zionist, anti-Semitic, colonizing, sellout, misogynistic, and partisan. The rest is extractivist propaganda. They tried to blame the young generation to whitewash their responsibility, and it didn't work out for them. President Sheinbaum exposed the right-wing operation, 90 million pesos spent in 2 months to inflate tomorrow's protests using Argentinian and Spanish accounts linked to Atlas Network, infamous for targeting sovereign governments in the region on behalf of transnational corporations. This is an inorganic call funded by the international right. The expert explained at the Daily People's Conference. They're real people. Everyone hates her. That's so funny. These guys are so fucking delusional, man. Greg Grandin was on Chapo last week talking about their new Monroe Doctrine, wherein Trump guys have their guys in LA, in Latin America like Milei, and incoming Chile to lock down parts of South America. But for the rest that is facing a real pink tide / light revolution after decades of imperial conquest, they need to be crushed. Yes. Venezuela isn't a narco state? Yes, it's not. I know that. I said that. This is AstroTurf, but likely not by the CIA, is that Gen Z protest is somehow entirely people over 45. It's being AstroTurf by the right-wing parties, and particularly billionaire media mogul Ricardo Salinas Pliego. There was a smaller Gen Z protest plan, but this took over, and the original organizers backed out. Yeah, except those are people who are aligned with the American government and their interests. They are aligned with the interests of capital. That's my point. And they try to do this against an unimaginably popular candidate. Anyway, Mexico's doing too good. So they need a little bit of that classic instability. But yeah, it's led by Mexican billionaire Ricardo Salinas, who was recently forced to pay billions in taxes and now holds a grudge against the government. And he also owns a large media empire. Part of the fucking reason why AMLO directly went straight to broadcast on YouTube, just like Claudia Sheinbaum is doing, is literally because in many Latin American countries, the media is entirely controlled by billionaires who fucking despise even modest social democratic gains for the overall population. They want to counter those assholes. That's the reason why they go straight to the audience. That was part of the reason why AMLO was able to maintain a level of success for his agenda. That is part of the reason why Claudia Sheinbaum has continued to be successful beyond the expansions of the welfare state. You have to understand, there are like 3 major TV stations in Mexico and they control everything. Yeah. Now, luckily, this wasn't very successful, but it's just like annoying that it's happening to begin with.
Along with the barriers outside the home of the president. Police used tear gas by the National Palace in Mexico City. And what started as a demonstration against government corruption in a country dominated by drug cartels has become explosive. Thousands gathered across the capital, supposedly organised by Gen Z youth groups, and the finger being pointed at those in charge, blaming the government for general insecurity across the nation.
All we want is justice and zero impunity in this government. We're tired of the government never acting, of power being concentrated across all branches and controlled by the same group.
Across the country, those arrested wear a skull and straw hat symbol taken from the Japanese manga series One Piece, which has become the defining icon of a global Gen Z movement. Over the last few weeks, protests have become deadly in places like Morocco, Kenya and Nepal. In Madagascar, the president fled for his life. In Mexico, the recent unrest was sparked by the assassination of Urupan mayor Carlos Manzo earlier this month. Seen here just minutes before he died, he was killed in front of a crowd at a Day of the Dead festival. His was the latest high-profile murder, having been known for his outspoken stance on organised crime. A 17-year-old was found responsible. Social media may be mobilizing Gen Z, but it's also being used by drug cartels in Mexico to recruit children as young as 6 years old to commit crimes. Human rights groups say there are hundreds of thousands of children vulnerable to recruitment. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum unveiled plans to deploy more than 10,000 troops and police to fight organized crime. This weekend, she cast doubt on the protests, suggesting instead they may have been organised by political opponents and promoted by bots on social media.
They say that young people were marching. In reality, there were very few young people. They violently pulled down some fences and broke windows. We say no to violence. If you have a disagreement, you have to demonstrate in a peaceful way.
While these have become violent, the online organisation of protests under the banner of having Gen Z support has been loose across the world. It's decentralised from any one route of power, and thus difficult to verify those behind it. Here, after a year in charge, the president still has high approval ratings, but the state of security in a country long overrun by cartels is a discontent that has existed here for years. These protests may look different country to country, but this is Mexico's version right now.
This morning, a surge of federal agents arriving in Charlotte, North Carolina, in what the Trump administration is dubbing Operation Charlotte's Web. Federal agents seen making arrests around the city.
Usted me lo quiebra, usted me lo paga.
In one encounter here, masked agents.
They're flying the wrong flag. They should be flying the Dragon's Revolutionary Army flag. Okay, dude. Is Claudia playing ball on immigration out of fear or tariffs? Is that the source of the real animosity? Like the mayor's assassination is the catalyst, but where does the real animosity stem from? Is Claudia not doing enough against the cartels? I think it's virtually impossible for Mexico to successfully dismantle the cartels. And I don't know how they would ever actually successfully dismantle the cartel power in the country. I think America has done so much to turn Mexico into what it is right now, that it is. I don't know. I don't know if there's any way that you could actually do it. I mean, people have tried, but as long as America is right there, creating an incredible market for drugs, and is always ready to give the best and newest weapons in exchange for said drugs. As long as America continues its war on drugs attitude, which seems to have only escalated with the Venezuela stuff, I don't think you can actually successfully dismantle the cartel structure. At most, you could probably turn it into like the Yakuza in Japan, if that makes sense. Do you understand what I mean? Like, you can basically normalize them, allow them to have like regular professional businesses and coexist alongside the government, I guess. And then eventually they just kind of fizzle out of power. Some of them become actual successful corporations and are straightforward, like, you know, private enterprise, whatever. And then others will basically fizzle out of power. But I just don't think that you can actually dismantle the cartels by force. I know it's insane to say, but I mean, right off the bat, right off the rip, there's like very few Gen Z people in this supposedly Gen Z protest. I think they're just like trying to bill it as such because they've seen a lot of like organic mobilization that's taken place all around the world that have been billed as Gen Z protests. But yeah, I mean, look at the Gen Z of Mexico. I guess they're old as fuck.
Can I ask what you think about the nearly 80% approval rate of Sheinbaum?
No. They bought that. They don't. That is not true.
According to El Financiero, it's about 76%.
Yeah, but that is not true. No.
She's like, fake news, fake polls, and fake news. Abuela's running around being like, I'm Gen Z.
Bueno, si tiene el 80.
That's awesome. Well, she's definitely Gen Z. These protesters also love Donald Trump.
¿Dirías Donald Trump presidente de México, que es Claudia Sheinbaum?
Sí, 1000 veces sí.
¿Y qué le parece sobre Donald Trump?
Que está haciendo un buen trabajo.
¿Y qué le parece sobre la militarización de los Estados Unidos?
Pues también igual, si estuviera aquí como el país, tampoco no estaría bien. Well, he has good things and other things that we are not.
What would you say some of the good things are?
Well, he
Mexico cannot dismantle the power of the cartels as long as they have an unlimited supply of American weapons flowing in from the north, but cutting ties with cartel-linked officials would certainly help, and I would like to see Morena do so. Viva Mexico. Yeah, I mean, that's what I said.
takes the life. I mean, the newborn, okay?
Abortion.
Abortion. He's against abortion, okay? De Donald Trump. A mí me parece un buen presidente. Lo mejor no es lo mejor que hay. Sin embargo, si hubiera quedado Kamala, yo creo que la situación sería peor, porque Kamala, junto con Biden, son algo muy parecido a lo que es López Obrador. Y por eso se permitieron muchas cosas en Estados Unidos. La llegada de muchos emigrantes, muchos narcos hay allá, y todo fue por la complicidad de Biden con López Obrador, con el gobierno de Morena. Por eso se invadieron de narcos y de delincuentes.
¿Y preferías?
Alex Jones' theory, take on this made Ryan Grimm consider your theory that Jones is CIA. I said, has Alex Jones always been a CIA, or is this just a one-off jaunt? Yeah. Abortion is still illegal in Mexico, by the way. Wait, what? Didn't they literally legalize it recently? Like a couple of years ago? CNN, the state is dying, said Rosa Maria Avila, a 65-year-old real estate agent who traveled from the town of Patsuaro in the Michoacán state. Gen Z is so old. Hold on.
De la aprobación de este país, que lo saque a las calles, que lo saque, que no blinde sus edificios. Si la gente ama a este gobierno, ¿por qué blinda los edificios? ¿A qué le tiene miedo? Que saque a la calle a los que la aprueban y salimos a enfrentarlos.
Can I ask what you think?
Ex-president and Coca-Cola executive definitely is Gen Z. Yeah. How old is Vicente Fox? Like fucking 80? Let's see. Vicente Fox age. Oh my God, this motherfucker's 83 years old. Are you fucking kidding? Okay, he looks actually pretty good for 83. Let's be real. Straight up. It's crazy how much noise this fucking chair makes when I sit on it. He looks like you, Hassan, in the future, Lamau. This guy owns a smoke shop franchise now. I guess that shit keeps you young, brother. Because goddamn. Law, they're trying to market their color revolution neoliberal protests like they market soft drinks to it's all olds wearing marketing aimed at what they think the youngs like. This is like a living parody. It's crazy. It sounds like a bark. Look, listen. Oh, Austin is here. Hold on.
Oh, it's not that much. It's not that much.
Look, you hear that?
Yeah. Not that much. Man, you got quite the setup here. A little mobile setup going on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Austin.
What's going on?
What are we doing today?
Ladies and gentlemen, I am doing my first stream in China. I couldn't be prouder to bring you an IRL stream exclusively on the Austin Show channel and the Hassan Billy channel. We are going to work, well, not technically work, you know, we're just going to have a good time serving people and cooking in a Chinese restaurant, okay? I have set it up with Irene, and she said it was possible. I asked her, and she's like, no, totally possible. I was like, is this okay? Is this good? She said, absolutely. I've got it approved beforehand. We're going to work and serve locals in a Chinese restaurant in CHONGQING.
Yeah.
Like I said, everything's been approved beforehand.
We're going to serve them Chinese food, or as I like to call it, food.
Yes, that's right. Oh my God! You know, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
It's
just because I'm Chinese. That's why.
But when I am abroad, I do say American food.
Yeah, well, it's because
even though we don't really have food.
Yeah, well, I call it food instead of Chinese food because I am Chinese. You know what I mean? Like I've become so Chinese.
Do you feel more? I mean, I'll be honest. This whole time, I have thought that I had a better Chinese accent when I spoke.
Oh, until Irene corrected you
on multiple occasions, has
said you suck.
Destroyed my ego when it comes to my ability to speak Chinese.
Sorry about that, King.
Yeah. So
didn't mean to do that to you, except I totally did.
You totally did. Yeah. Well, you know, look. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. It's my first IRL stream. I usually don't stream on these trips, but since I'm a streamer now, you know, since I lay it down at that 8 to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, it's my first time. So, you know, I know there's a tremendous amount of anticipation and excitement, and I know you're just holding back your subscriptions. I know what you're doing. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. We're gonna get it set up. I brought my own backpack, but I thought, you know, I'll just use Hasan's. You know what I mean? I thought he's already got it all set up, and I was like, you know what? Why not? You know, it's already ready. It's ready to go. So yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm excited. Billy has been calling me the Chengdu toilet. Or I think Hasan has, and it's catching on.
Or the toilet fairy.
The toilet fairy is another one that they've been calling me on Billy. So I'm excited to see. I have been drinking a tremendous amount of liquid, so I do look forward to using a lot of toilets all around Chongqing today.
Wonderful.
I'm sure there's a lot of anticipation for that. Yeah.
The toilet fairy.
Yeah, the toilet fairy. So anyway, what time is it over in the United States? Oh, bro, I woke up this morning at 2 a.m. only to sit up for 4 hours to watch the Vikings keep the game close and then ultimately lose in the last 4 seconds. So I woke up at 2. I went to bed at midnight, woke up at 2, and then they fucking lost in the last second. So they couldn't even get blown out, right? If they would have gotten blown out, I could have gone to bed earlier, but they kept the game close. They kept it close all the way to the literally the last second. So I had to watch the entire game. Yeah, it sucked.
How could they do that?
I don't know. I should have learned by now, to be honest. It was difficult to watch the game anyway, because I don't think there's no way to really watch it here in China. Are you making a coffee, Christian? Is there a room that way, or is it only this way? I have had no coffee or anything. Y'all ever wonder, like,
You're the highest paid cameraman in the business, bro.
Hasan Piker?
Highest paid camera tech.
Ooh.
Well,
Let me tell you something. So
That's nice.
excuse you.
What
was I gonna say? Oh, it's always a little nerve-wracking to go outside and start your day before you've had your coffee, because you don't know what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Is that correct? It's no one knows what I'm talking
You're
about.
not beating the selfish top allegations by drinking my coffee that I just made.
I'm just saying it's a
You've
little.
been doing all this work trying to beat the selfish top allegations, and then here you are drinking the coffee that I just made.
Christian, you are dripped in head to toe with designer. What is this?
And what's this that you're wearing here?
Yes, I know.
Great.
Designer.
Tell them.
Designer.
Tell them what I got you for your birthday.
Oh wait, he did give me this for my birthday.
Oh, I liked it. I was like thinking, this is
There's
unusual.
Yeah, it's like unusually cute.
It's unusually cute, and it looked like
some would say boots.
Yeah, I would say boots. Okay, so I have the camera ready here, but
Okay,
you
I
have
need
to
to sign
log in, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
here,
I'm already logged in, but you say it won't work.
I don't think it will. I think and we can't even test it without.
Am I gonna have your logos?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I did the drag to brunch stream on Hasan's setup, and I had his logos on my screen the entire time.
No, we
Who set that system up?
Me.
No, I had to take the logos off anyway for Bilibili.
Oh, okay.
So you're lucky.
Oh yeah.
Okay, are you gonna piss right now, or are you gonna log in? Here.
I'm gonna log in. Yeah, they're delicious.
Oh my god, this fucking guy, bro.
I'll log in first.
Here, I'm gonna delete it anyway. I'm gonna
Okay.
delete your login anyway, so you can re-log.
Trash can here.
Did it go in? Okay.
Oh, don't worry, Irene. We're coming. We're coming, Irene. I wonder if she's watching the stream.
Wait, fuck. I wonder if this will log out Will Neff. Oh, here. Log into your Twitter. Oh my fucking god. Classic. Both him and Will are the same, by the way.
Ooh, oh, that wasn't correct. Okay.
Okay, it's gonna be really funny when he can't even log into his account, and therefore he won't be able to stream this, and therefore...
Hold on, no, I got it. Worst case scenario.
Alex Taylor, if you ask me one more time to take a quick look, Alex Taylor is literally saying, Austin, take a look at this. A Democratic Socialist running for governor of Wisconsin. This is super exciting. Alex Taylor, I will look at Francesca's campaign later. Please stop spamming it for the love of Christ and all things holy.
I got it.
Please, you haven't stopped spamming it. You're demanding that Austin check this out. Big news, big news. Check this out for Hasan. I love that you're excited about this, okay? I too am excited about it. But can you please fucking stop? Are you a bot? What is this?
Chatter, I will be looking into that later if you just send me an Instagram DM.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. The entire day I was like, hey, listen, like I'm trying to, you know, well, check it out then. Time and place! Time and place! Some of you are so fucking stupid.
You need me to make a phone call or what? I'll make a phone call.
Jesus
Do I
Christ!
need my endorsement? All right.
Okay, we have you. When I enable you, you will start. Your stream will start. W Wisconsin Mansion. Anyway, I don't know why people are like, are you checking it out right now? No, I'm not. I'm not checking it out right now because we're trying to fucking go to a noodle shop where we're going to be fucking working and serving the regular laborers of CHONGQING. I hope so.
Okay.
I'm sure. Chatters like exist in the confines of whatever their immediate attention is. Like there's just nothing else going on. Okay. Who Christian, man it for now.
Okay.
And then cause I'm gonna swap it. Okay.
Okay. Is my chat working? Yeah, it is.
How cold is it outside? Do we know? Really?
Yeah. I'm not wearing a jacket though.
But I don't trust hot everywhere.
That's usually how it goes.
Oh, is it Sunday in the United States?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. It's Monday here, y'all. Well, I don't know. It's just kind of strange. Like, my body, it took me forever. This is the first day I woke up not feeling like shit.
Oh, I'm just going to swap it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be live on my Twitch channel, Austin Show. Hasan will also be live on Bilibili. But the Twitch channel, I think he's gonna send me a raid. Billy. I tell you what, by the end of this trip, that could be the official Bilibili theme song. All right? It could be the official Bilibili theme song. I'm very confident in that. Billy. Now, I was a little disappointed that it wasn't received very well, like, live. When we sang it to, like, the girls on the street.
You sing the full song. You came up with, like, this entire song, and then you didn't even sing the song.
Well, because I'm insecure about it, because it sounds exactly like... Hold on.
The biggest thing I learned in my years of theater,
Hold on.
when you're
One second.
given the chance, the opportunity to perform, you take it.
Hi, Irene. We're just coming down the elevator. Okay, we'll be there in a moment. Bye-bye.
Is this what Marsh feels like? My Marsh era. Hold on.
So... Okay, we're not coming down the elevator, but it's like everybody knows that you always lie, and when you're running late, you always lie.
That's the homosexual method.
You always lie like a step ahead. Okay, it's a signature move. Hey, I'm 5 minutes away. I'll be there in a moment. I'm almost there. I'm on my way.
It's
still getting dressed. On my way. Almost there. Oh, yeah.
She's watching.
Oh no! You just told her you lied to her.
No. I don't think she's watching.
She is probably. Actually,
tapped
oh
in.
shit! She just told me she is watching.
Okay.
She's tapped in.
Awkward. Okay. All right. I'm gonna swap it.
All right.
It's gonna.
Oh my god. What do you want to do your outro?
No, I'm gonna do it on.
Are you gonna do your outro on my stream?
No, I'm gonna do. No, I'm not gonna start your stream yet. We'll start it in the lobby.
Oh, okay.
I'm swapping to the fucking backpack. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I can.
Austin, for as long as you've been streaming, it still mystifies you so much.
What?
You're always
Alright, we
mystified.
swapped
Hey guys, welcome to my channel.
Not.
Okay. My bad.
It's not.
Okay.
It's still my channel.
Got it,
We're gonna
got
go
it.
downstairs.
Okay.
And we're gonna crank the intro.
Okay.
Down there.
Got
okay?
it. I got you.
Oh man, my pants are falling down.
Yeah, those pants really, and since you have no waist,
Yeah, since my waist is so
it's gonna be really difficult.
Boots.
No, like this shit is definitely gonna
All
fall.
right. Don't show the floor.
Hand POV. Hassan shoe POV. Low-key drip, bro. These are drip.
Thank you.
You look like you're about to stomp on someone.
Yeah.
That's right. So don't come to Hassan's floor. He'll stomp on you.
Some freak is like, dude, this. Oh, it's the Y3.
Bro, it's the twink sweater.
I love that sweater.
I
brought it
he,
here.
he owns it.
I brought it here.
We bought, Hassan and I bought matching Y3 sweaters in England.
London.
Yeah, in London.
Yeah.
That's the gayest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, and we kissed.
Yeah, we did.
Are you
Yeah.
jealous? Don't worry about it.
No, and also you also happen to buy the twinkiest sweater ever.
Yeah, I love that sweater.
Bro, this is some shit that look at these sleeves, y'all. This is some Ariana Grande behavior.
Yeah.
Baby, do you have your passport?
Yeah. I don't play.
True.
No.
It's over here.
Oh wait, I might have left my phone in Hassan's room.
No, you didn't, Christian.
I didn't. Haha, I got you.
Nice. That's funny.
He actually does play. He forgets things.
Why are you gonna out me like that?
Well,
it's like middle school over again.
He's hot girl shit, bro. He's on his hot girl shit.
God forbid.
Yeah. God forbid a hot girl has a lot going on in their life.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Hassan.
We're in the elevator.
Yep. We are also in the elevator. Whoa.
Oh, dude.
What?
What is that? Move around.
What?
I heard that.
Yeah, the clicking.
Yeah, what is that?
That was happening to me yesterday.
Yeah.
Which I could not identify why it was happening.
Yeah.
It's weird. Alright.
I've taken notice that Will and Caroline are not here yet.
Yeah, no, they're in the elevator. That's what they said. Yo, let's go to the bar. Let's show them.
Oh hell yeah.
Let's show them this, and we'll end it there.
Oh my God, Irene's hat is so cute.
Oh.
Good morning.
We're waiting for some people, but we want to go to the bar real quick and show them the crazy. Dude, look at the fog. Oh my God. Hey, what's the king? It's gonna be a rainy day, huh?
Yo, what's up?
Can we look at the bar? Is it open? Oh, it's not open right now, so we can't look at the. Okay. It's all good.
Oh man.
Thank you.
We can't even look at it?
Thank you.
No.
Damn. We just edged chat.
Did you get a good workout today? Yeah. Nice. Yeah, a little bit. Not a good workout.
All right.
Like 9. Yeah. He was already done with his workout.
Yeah, I was done with my workout.
What'd you hit today? What muscle group did you hit?
I hit my shoulders.
Oh, shoulders? Okay. Yeah, hell yeah. I hit a little chest.
Damn, no wonder I marched to stand so far away from you. You're so tall. It's like if I'm like this
you can
close.
zoom out.
Oh here, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. I just been.
Oh, it is already zoomed
lazy
out.
workout.
You're just tall, bro.
That's it. How you zoom in. It's the back one.
The back one? Okay.
Yeah, and then the front one is the focus.
What do you want? Yeah.
Okay, chat, for Twitch chat, on my stream, I am going to now start Austin's stream. And for the American audience, we are going to be broadcasting this on Austin's stream. For the Bilibili audience, we're going to start the Bilibili live stream on my end as well. So I'll still be there. Yeah, let me start Austin's stream
our next
right
destination, I think we got to do a workout stream with Calvin.
Yes, I'm down. All right, Austin, you're live.
I'm live.
Trying to get my biceps
Ladies
right.
and gentlemen, welcome to China. My name is Austin Show, and this is my first live stream in 2 weeks. We are going to go to a restaurant where we are going to
Did
cook.
you check to see if you're live?
Yeah, we're live. Should I start the intro again?
I think.
Let's start. Let's do it again.
Okay, hold on. Wait. 1 second. Let's make sure.
Caroline, get in.
Hold on. Let's see.
Are we doing your intro?
Yeah, we'll just give it a moment.
Welcome to Austin Show
They're a little
stream.
delayed because
And I'm gonna raid you right now.
I haven't streamed in a couple weeks.
Wait, start
Caroline, that jacket
Hold on,
is
wait till the raid comes
the
in. then
cuntiest
we'll-
thing I've ever seen. Can we get a little commotion for the jacket?
Oh my
Come
God, there's people are
on.
subscribing already.
Good morning, everybody.
Oh
Right.
People are subscribing already.
Yes. Oh my God, I
Explain.
haven't. Yes.
It's Austin Show, right?
Yes, Austin. Did you misraid me?
No, I accidentally almost raided myself. I mean, it wouldn't let me. I just like wrote HasanAbi.
No.
Okay. Did you get it?
I think so. It's not showing up though. Where is it? Oh, it is. Yeah, it is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let's see here.
Okay, we're live on Bilibili as well.
Okay.
What's up, Bilibili audience?
All right.
Ni hao.
Okay.
Ni hao, Bilibili.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the live stream. My name is Austin Show, and this is my first stream in 2 weeks. We are here live